And good evening from Old Trafford. I'm Conor McNamara alongside Clinton Morrison. We're about to bring you full commentary of Manchester United against Newcastle United. It is the last 16 stage of the Carabao Cup. We've got a rematch of last season's final. Erik ten Hag got his first piece of silverware as Manchester United boss at Wembley, beating Newcastle last year. And it prolonged what is now a 68-year wait for Newcastle United Football Club to lift some domestic silverware. Tonight they hope to book a place in the semi-finals and try to do it all again. Newcastle, they have brought a very healthy travelling contingent of support who are making most of the noise away to our right-hand side inside a virtually full Old Trafford, with a few spectators still coming in to take their seats. Long before the end on Sunday, those seats were being rapidly vacated. Manchester United humbled by 3-0 in the derby, and Erik ten Hag will be hoping to see a reaction tonight. He needs it as the teams now make their way out of the tunnel.
Yeah, you're 100% spot on, Connor. They do need a reaction. Nowhere near good enough for the weekend. Nowhere near good enough in the past few weeks. I know they got that result against Brentford, but I thought they were really lucky scoring in stoppage time. So yeah, he'll want a performance today. He's made a lot of changes. I like that the youngster Hannibal's in. I do think he gives them energy, and they've been missing that this season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to an interesting game.
Yes, we'll give you a rundown of the teams in just a moment, but it's Casemiro who leads out Manchester United. He's missed the last 3 games, combination of suspensions and injury. Hasn't always hit the heights this season that he did in the previous campaign, but in the main, when Casemiro is on form, Manchester United do tend to do much better. Mix of experience and youth tonight in the Manchester United team. Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof at the heart of the defence. Mason Mount joining Casemiro in midfield. Anthony Martial leads the line. He's become peripheral since the arrival of Rasmus Højlund into the starting 11. But that can often be the beauty of the League Cup. It's a chance for players who aren't playing week in, week out in the top flight to remind everyone of what they can do. And Martial does have a decent record of scoring against Newcastle. 4 times in the last 6 seasons he's found the back of the net against tonight's opponent. Now, as a fully fledged signed-up member of the number 9 union, Clinton, you're disappointed with the Newcastle team though tonight. No recognised striker for Eddie Howe.
No, I'm disappointed, but I do think, obviously I would like to have seen Callum Wilson, but I kind of get why he's not starting Callum Wilson, because Isak has an injury. They got a big game on the weekend, and Callum Wilson's not long come back from injury, so I kind of get it with Trippier. But I have been speaking to people, and Anthony Gordon for the England under-21s when they won it played centrally and caused a lot of problems, so he could cause Man United problems.
Manchester United have got Andre Onana in goal, back 4 of Dello, Maguire, Lindelof and Reguilon. In midfield, it's Casemiro alongside Mason Mount. Then an attacking 3 of Anthony, Hannibal and Garnacho, and Anthony Martial will lead the line up top. So pretty much a 4-2-3-1 for Manchester United at Old Trafford this evening. For the visitors, Newcastle, well, this is an 11 that won't have started before. Martin Dubravka in goal. He was on loan here at Manchester United last season, played in this competition and got a winner's medal. Back 4 of Lewis Hall, Paul Dummett, Emil Kraft and Tino Livramento. Kraft and Dummett, who've had long injury problems, good to see them back and in the starting team. Midfield 3, Joe Linton, Sean Longstaff and Joe Willock. Plenty of strength and energy in there. And then the front 3, we think it'll be Matt Targett one side, Matt Ritchie on the other, and Anthony Gordon through the middle. Gordon, who has got 3 Premier League goals for Newcastle this season.
Yeah, you're right. I think the only things that could probably change, I think you're right, Con. I think Targett will play left back and Hall will play ahead of him. So, and I do think it will be Gordon and Ritchie, or he could put Joe Linton higher, or Willock could play higher. But it'd be interesting. I still think they're strong in midfield though, Newcastle. Whoever they played, I still think they're strong. But I look at the 2 centre-halves, Kraft and Dummett, and you're looking, can Martial get at them this evening?
Elsewhere tonight, West Ham United have already taken the lead against Arsenal. That was a 7:45 kick-off at London Stadium. They're approaching half-time there. Commentary of that game is available on our sister station 5 Live right now. Liverpool have been held 0-0 away at Bournemouth. We're half an hour into that one. Chelsea, who are having a tough time of it lately, still 0-0 at home to Blackburn Rovers in the League Cup tonight. Everton have taken the lead at home to Burnley. Sean Dyche against his old club. And Fulham of the Premier League lead by a 1-0 away at Ipswich. So those are the earlier kickoffs. This is the 8:15 game. Full commentary coming up here on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Anthony falls to his knees. The referee blows the whistle. The game is underway. Manchester United defending the Stretford end and attacking the end away to our right-hand side that all the Newcastle United fans are housed. Reguilon gives it back to Victor Lindelof, who played at left back against Manchester City on Sunday, but is back in the centre alongside Harry Maguire for this game this evening. Jump in midfield from Sean Longstaff to try and win some possession for Newcastle, but Casemiro gets it under control, gives it back to Lindelof on the edge of the Manchester United area. He and Maguire play their way out of trouble. Interesting that Andre Onana does start tonight. They've got the Turkish goalkeeper Altay Bayindir on the bench, who's still waiting for his debut. There is a scenario with the Africa Cup of Nations coming up in the new year that Manchester United could be without Onana for potentially up to 9 games across all competitions. Bearing that in mind, Clinton, are you surprised that Bayindir didn't get a bit of first team exposure tonight?
I am slightly surprised, but I can get it why Onana's, because he hasn't had the best of start, and I think over the last couple of games you've been seeing Onana. So I think once you're playing football matches, you need to get that confidence, and he looks like he's got his confidence back now, so I can understand why he's played him. And one thing I've noticed, Con, is that Joe Linton is playing on the left as a front three, Gordon in the middle, and Richie's playing to the right. So that means Willock is dropped into midfield alongside Longstaff, and it looks like maybe Matt Targett might be in there.
Yes, this is going to be a fluid, you'd imagine, line-up for Newcastle. There's a lot of players who are naturally defensive-minded in there. I mean, Richie's played left-back for a lot of his career. Targett, Kraft, Dummett, Hall, Livramento, they're all specialist defenders. So someone's going to have to fit in elsewhere, but not missing any live action at the moment because there's a player who I think is Matt Targett is down lying on the ground and receiving some treatment. Now, he's another who's had injury problems, and he'll hope that he'll be nothing serious here. He started the league game against Brighton. Started the win over City in the last round of this competition, but those have been his only starts this campaign. It's an awkward one. He's stretching for the ball, and it seems to me he lands into the ground and maybe hurts his heel. Or is it his hamstring?
He's done. Look, you're right, Connor. He's done his hamstring. What they're doing at the moment is Almiron or Bruno Guimaraes is going to go and get warmed up. It'll probably be Almiron. You don't want to probably bring on Bruno this early, but they're trying to stretch it. But if you know this early where he's lunged at it and he can feel the back of his hamstring, I'd be very surprised if he comes back onto the football pitch.
And that is a real shame for Matt Targett, who's been trying to work his way back. And actually, when he came in and joined, and it was early days in the Eddie Howe revolution and Newcastle going places, and he was originally playing that left-back position, which has now become Dan Burns, and he did very well before injury. And now, though, you would imagine he faces a big challenge to get back in the team, particularly with the new arrivals like Lewis Hall, who provides options on that left-hand side. 2.5 minutes on the stadium clock at Old Trafford, and the sad side of Matt Targett very much hobbling to the touchline. He's not going to be able to continue, and it's a defensive-minded player going off to be replaced by an attacking-minded player, because it's Almiron who's taking off the bib, and he is going to be the early replacement.
I bet Reguilon or Dalot didn't want to see him come on, that's for sure, because you know what Almiron's like. He's been in good form, he causes a lot of problems, and listen, you never want to see a player go off in Matt Targett. It was a great opportunity, we wish him well, but bringing on Almiron makes Newcastle stronger.
It does. It actually makes the whole team look more attacking, doesn't it? Miguel Almiron, who started the League Cup final defeat to Manchester United last season, and he comes out as the very early shot. I mean, that was Targett's first touch of the ball. What a shame for him to pick up an injury, and we hope it's not going to keep him out for long. He does look in some pain there. He's finding it very difficult to walk and hobble along the touchline as he makes his way towards the tunnel, which is, as most of our listeners will know, is located in the corner here at Old Trafford. So he's going to walk down the side of the pitch to leave, and that is a shame to see Matt Targett depart so early. Back underway. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0 in the last 16 of the Carabao Cup. Casemiro on the halfway line plays a good pass to Dello, but Dello hit straight offside, and Kraft and Dummett has stepped up together to catch the Portuguese international in an offside position. 4 minutes played, 0-0. Clinton Morrison.
Yeah, it was a great pass from Casemiro. He fizzed it into Dalot, but he just went early. The game hasn't really started because of the injury to Targett, but as I said, Hall's playing at left back, so I thought it would be Targett, but I like Hall, and I've been surprised he hasn't got a lot of chances yet at Newcastle, but that's the form that Dan Burns been in. And also Livramento's another one I like to look.
And they are too, and Livramento, when we obviously saw him not much with Chelsea, but we saw him play quite a bit with Southampton. He's fantastic for a young player, still only 20 years of age. And Lewis Hall, I remember seeing him on occasion playing for Chelsea last season, the Premier League. He is a fantastic talent. So Newcastle have a lot of excitement in these two players who, might be a little bit for the future, but we're going to get to see them both on the pitch tonight here.
Yeah, we are going to see, and I like them. I like Livramento. I think he's outstanding, and he's learning from one of the best, because Trippier at the moment is one of the best. Fantastic defender and also one of the best going forward. So he'll get his time. He'll definitely get his time, and it's opportunities like tonight that he has to grasp it.
This is BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Old Trafford on a Wednesday evening. A bruised and wounded Old Trafford after events of the Manchester derby here at the weekend. Newcastle's substitute goalkeeper tonight, by the way, Loris Karius, who just popped up on our monitor. He, remember, started the League Cup final. Nick Pope had been sent off against Liverpool in a league game just before and picked up a suspension. And Karius was plunged from near obscurity into that central role, and that remains still the only game that he's played in the first team for Newcastle. Dubravka, who was also at the club at the time, was ineligible because he played in this competition for Manchester United earlier on. That was one of those strange events that Karius, who had left Liverpool under such a cloud, having underperformed in a Champions League final against Real Madrid, and then he was back in for his next game in English football, another final, and again he ended up on the losing team. Harry Maguire has possession on the halfway line. Maguire, who scored against Copenhagen in the Champions League last week. And it's been a bit of a journey for Harry Maguire, but he has worked his way back into, being involved and not seeing a figure on the periphery here at Old Trafford.
No, you're right, Connor. He's never let Man United down. Listen, there might be a few games where he's not played to the highest standard, but with him in the team, Man United win a lot more games. So yeah, it's been disappointing, but over the last few weeks I do think he's been really good, really positive, and fair play to him, because the stick that he's got from a lot of people, not many come back from that. So credit to Harry Maguire.
Half time now at the London Stadium. West Ham leading Arsenal by 1-0. Liverpool have taken the lead away at Bournemouth tonight. 10 minutes to go to half time there, and Chelsea have broken the deadlock at home to Blackburn Rovers. Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0. So Martin Dubravka, wearing a sort of Manchester City shade of blue, is in the Newcastle goal away to our right hand side. He's slowly placing the ball on the edge of the 6-yard box to take it. It's his first appearance of the season. Made 3 appearances for Newcastle last season. And just that League Cup appearance for Manchester United during a loan spell that was cut short after that Nick Pope red card. Long clearance towards Joe Linton, who don't think got any touch in it, but it went out off Dubravka's boot, and that'll be a throw-in to Manchester United right full-back position for them. Diogo Dalot, who started more games in all competitions this season than any other Manchester United defender, takes the throw. It comes off Lewis Hall, and it goes out for another throw-in, and Manchester United up over the halfway line. Both coaches out on the edge of the technical area. Erik ten Hag in the suit trousers and the smart shoes, and more casual look with the hoodie for Eddie Howe and the white trainers. As Joe Willock brings it up to the halfway line, Lewis Hall will give it back to Emil Kraft, Swedish international, to the right hand side to Tino Livramento. Newcastle holding on to possession inside their own half, which is right hand side of the field as we look down. It comes back to the near side to Lewis Hall, cuts in field of Anthony, and he rolls it back to Dubravka. Martial will run in to put pressure on him, and Dubravka clears it out towards Livramento on the far side. Newcastle still midway inside their own half. 8.5 minutes played here at Old Trafford. Good pressure from Garnacho. Livramento is in a tight corner here, and he's been bundled off the field of the play. That's very good from Garnacho, winning a throw-in for his team. Close to the corner flag they attack.
Yeah, he got in a muddle there. Livramento should have just put his foot through it, but you're right, Connor, really good pressing from Garnacho, and that's what you need to do when you're in a bad slump that Man United are in at the moment. These players with low on confidence, you got to set the pattern, because the only fans I can hear at the moment are Newcastle fans.
And a player that Manchester United thought were going to face things up in terms of attacking creativity was Mason Mount, big money signing from Chelsea in the summer. A stat that really stood out for me at the weekend, Clinton, is that Mason Mount, since joining Manchester United, has yet to record a shot on target in the Premier League for his new club. That is strange, given the amount of shots on target for Chelsea in England that he's had in the past. What are you putting it down to?
No, I agree. I know he's had a few injuries. Let me. You know what? I need to stop just because of this piece of. skill that I've just seen here from Anthony.
Lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great touch and a great bit of skill, but in the end he should just give it out. But the touch was fantastic, to be fair. But I'm surprised about that, Connor. I am surprised about that, because you look at Mason Mount and you think to yourself, he's got so much ability, and I know he's been injured and he can score goals. We've seen that at Chelsea and for England. If you think 2 or 3 years ago, Southgate was picking him regular in that number 10 role, so hopefully he can rediscover his form here.
And the shirt number is significant, isn't it? Given that number 7 shirt at Old Trafford, that means something. You're supposed to be the star of the team, and certainly one of the stars of the team if you're given that shirt, and it's not happening for Mason Mount yet, but let's see how he gets on tonight. He's in that central position. Hannibal Mebry's in there too, got his first Manchester United goal against Brighton in September, getting another chance here tonight. Reguilon, midway inside his own half, gives it back to Lindelof. Lindelof rolls it to his right hand side into Harry Maguire, who scored against Newcastle 3 seasons ago at St James's Park, a game that Manchester United won by 3-1. Reguilon wearing gloves tonight, brings it up to the halfway line, infield to Mount, back to Lindelof once again. 10 minutes in, still 0-0 between the Uniteds of Manchester and Newcastle. Onana wearing all green, away to our left. Almiron sprints in. And since that early change when Targett had to go off and Almiron came on to replace him, Almiron is now playing centre forward. Gordon, who'd begun the game through the middle, on the left hand side of the attack, and Joelinton dropping back into the midfield where Targett had been playing. This is Anthony Gordon flicking the ball onto Joe Willock, who to stretch to get there ahead of Garnacho, gives it to Livramento on the right hand side. Matt Ritchie, who's had to be very patient for game time over the last 12 months or so, didn't start a Premier League game for Newcastle last season, made a few sub appearances. Tonight's his first appearance in any competition this campaign. But Matt Ritchie, and I have heard this, he's one of those who's good around the dressing room, gets on with Eddie Howe, positive influence, and even though he's not been playing, he hasn't, thrown a sulk, or he hasn't caused any problems, and that's why Eddie Howe's keen to keep him involved. Yeah, he's clever, because he's at Newcastle United. Let's be honest, Connor, you ain't going to want to leave that football club. It's on the way up, and you do need your characters like that in the dressing room. He obviously knows him from his time at Bournemouth. He will be frustrated he's not getting the game time, but they've been in good form at the moment. But these are opportunities. It's nights like this where you hope that your team get through, because you can get more game time in this cup competition. Good game awareness there by Lewis Hall, who just allowed the ball bounce beyond him because he knew it would go back to Dubravka and away from Anthony. Still 0-0 in the early stages here. As Joelinton has it under pressure from Hannibal just outside his own penalty area. Hannibal Mebry, who played for Tunisia in October at a friendly against Korea. He's got 26 caps for his country, senior caps, Hannibal Mebry. He's only 20 years of age. Here's Anthony, inside the penalty area. Back to Casemiro, shot on target. He's saved by Dubravka, diving down to his right. It was a bit of a daisy cutter. From that distance, it needed a little bit more power. But it is the first shot on target of the game from Casemiro. Yeah, it was good play down the left-hand side by Garnacho. A good touch from Anthony, good set. It's a comfortable save from Dubravka. But yeah, good strike from Casemiro, but it's craft. He's coming to the game and he's trying to take chances at the back. He's just got to get the ball forward. The game warming up at Old Trafford as Lindelof makes a challenge on Anthony Gordon, and the ball ends up back with Andre Onana away to a left-hand side. Onana, who saved a penalty last week against Copenhagen, did have some good saves in the derby on Sunday too. There was one when he was caught at his front post and he got back across the goal to deny Haaland, which is a wonderful save. Still, he was beaten 3 times, the Cameroonian international. Another free kick to Newcastle here inside the centre circle. There's going to be the first yellow card of the game shown to Mason Mount for that challenge inside the centre circle. Was it? Oh, it was Hannibal actually, not Mount. Yeah, he was late. And you know what, Connor? He always plays on the edge, Hannibal. I just seen it down here earlier on where he smashed into someone, and I know he's young and enthusiastic, but he has to be careful. Getting a booking this early is not good for him or Man United. He came off the bench to score against Brighton. He started against Burnley. Those have been his 2 Premier League appearances this season. I know he's popular with the Manchester United fans. They like that enthusiasm that you've mentioned. But because he picked up the yellow now, added to the yellow he got in the previous League Cup game, he will now miss the first leg of the semi-final should Manchester United go through this evening. Play back underway. Joelinton has it in the midfield. Gives it to Lewis Hall on the left-hand side, number 20. That's a good ball to the feet of Anthony Gordon, the edge of the D. Down goes Joe Willock. Foul by Casemiro. Free kick. Not quite within shooting range, but this is a good attacking platform maybe 12 yards outside the penalty area left-hand side.
Yeah, it's good play. The pass from Hall into Anthony was outstanding. He fizzed it in, and that's what you want as a centre forward. Good touch and good play from Willett. It's good to see Joe Willett back. Obviously he's been out for some time, but I thought he was brilliant Newcastle last season.
Yeah, he made his first appearance of this season off the bench against Dortmund last week, Joe Willock. And then he came out of the Premier League against Wolves on Saturday, his first league appearance of the campaign. I think he only missed 3 Premier League games in all of last season, Joe Willock. And he's now amongst the attackers in around the edge of the penalty area as Newcastle wait for this free kick, which Matt Ritchie is going to take. Ritchie with the white boots just wipes his forehead. It's going to be a left-footed delivery from the left-hand side, curling away for the goalkeeper into the penalty area. Maguire wasn't able to get up off the ground, and Lindelof will nudge it out for a corner. Corner to Newcastle, and a big cheer for the travelling fans away to our right-hand side. 0-0 on 5 Live Sports Extra.
That's all I can hear the whole game, Connor. They travel in their numbers, don't they? 7,000 or 8,000 there today. Credit to them. But yeah, it was good defending in the end, really good defending. But they are a threat from set pieces.
It is one of the great features of the cup games in this country that the away fans get the much bigger allocation. And I mean, there's at least twice as many, maybe more than that, fans than you'd have for a league game in here for the visitors tonight. Here comes the corner, swung in, Joe Linton attacked it, good solid defending by Harry Maguire, and Anthony Martial in a right full-back position should be able to clear away here. Longstaff puts him under pressure, good ball into Casemiro, and then good pressure from Lewis Hall, forces the ball out. It'll be a throw into Manchester United, right full-back position for them. Yeah,
it's a big header from Harry Maguire. That's what you want, and that's what he does, Harry Maguire. He attacks it at the other end, and he attacks it in his defensive areas as well. Really important header.
Manchester United travel to Fulham on Saturday in the Premier League. They've got Copenhagen away in the Champions League next week, followed by Luton here at Old Trafford. That's the next home match. As Livramento gives a rather soft pass to Kraft, who's been caught by Hannibal Mejbri again. He's on the yellow card already, remember. And the Tunisian jumps to his feet and starts the protest, and Kraft is slow to get up on his first appearance of the season.
I'll be honest, Connor, that is a second yellow card anywhere else on the football pitch, and he's only got away with that because he's just made a tackle. So I just said, I've seen him many times. I like him as a player. I think he's a fantastic young talent, but he has to be careful. I saw him at Birmingham. He can lose his head, and he is like that, but it's very naive from him. He has to be careful. So he's late. For me, it's a second yellow card.
An important thing we haven't mentioned yet tonight is that there is no VAR in these early rounds of the League Cup. It doesn't come in until the semi-finals. Had there been VAR, they can't get involved for second yellows anyway. It would only be if it was a direct red card. I don't think it was quite of that level. However, let's just say Hannibal's probably on his last chance here now. He's got to be very careful for the next few minutes.
Spot on, Connor. He is on his last chance, because that should have been a second yellow card. I never like to see anyone get sent off, especially him, because I think he's a good young player, but it was a yellow card.
Livramento clears away inside the Newcastle United penalty area. Newcastle playing from right to left as we look down their traditional black and white Magpie colours. Manchester United in their regular home kit, the red shirts, white shorts, black socks. Garnacho gives a pass, sets off in a run because he expected the return ball, but it didn't come, and he cuts a frustrated figure as he waits for some better supply on that left wing for Manchester United this evening. Reguilon playing in behind him. This is Harry Maguire inside the centre circle. Pitch black skies overhead. 8:15 kickoff at Old Trafford. Storm Kieran, we're told, on the way, but no real evidence of it yet. There's no rain, not much wind down there. It's a still evening. Good conditions actually for football, as Lindelof plays it short to Casemiro, another who's wearing the gloves. He knows the storm is on the way, and then he plays it left-footed, chipped towards the edge of the penalty area. Kraft gets in ahead of Mason Mount, and now there's a chance of a breakaway. Joe Willock comes over the halfway line with the green boots. He's got options to his left-hand side. Almiron was screaming for it. Casemiro makes the challenge. Second free kick given away by Casemiro on the edge of the penalty area. The referee wants a word. He's not reaching for the pocket yet, though.
I don't get the referee. How is it not a yellow card? He has booked it.
It is. It had to be.
It is a yellow card. Willock's in full flow, and I don't understand why he took his time.
Joe Willock was caught in 2 months. I think he couldn't decide which way to send the pass. Casemiro came in and cleaned him out, and deservedly does get a yellow card there. So Hannibal and Casemiro, 2 players in the engine room for Manchester United, now carrying yellow cards, and we've only played 19 minutes. This free kick is again in a threatening position. Too far out to have a shot, you'd imagine, but good position for Ritchie to try and send one in. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0. If you're just joining our coverage here on 5 Live Sport Extra, over on 5 Live. It's the West Ham Arsenal game. West Ham leading by 1-0 the last time we heard from that. So Manchester United brought everyone back to defend this. Line of 10 outfield players along the edge of their penalty area. Ritchie rolls it short to Willock. Now Willock gives it back to Ritchie. There's a host of players waiting patiently in the middle. Here comes the delivery. High toward the back post. Lindelof gets up well. Comes down for Anthony Gordon. Actually bounces over Gordon. And Hannibal's able to nip in and get possession for Manchester United. But he's relieved of it on the midway point of his own half. And Newcastle regained possession once again. Gordon has it on the halfway line. It was a routine that eventually delivered a ball into the penalty area. Manchester United did well to clear it away. 0-0 it remains. Joe Linton plays a 1-2 in the midfield. Helps it on to Joe Willock here. Matt Ritchie screams for it and receives on the left-hand side. He sends in a cross, but there's no one in the back stick, and it bounces right by the byline, but doesn't go over it, and it goes out for a throw-in. Throw-in to Manchester United. Left full-back position for them. 0-0 here at Old Trafford.
Yeah, it's good play in midfield between Willock and Linton, and he does ever so well. Plays a good ball to Ritchie. He overhits it because Gordon wants it really flashed across the front. He's not going to win a header against Maguire and Lindelof, but yeah, they've started well though, Newcastle. After the first 5 or 10 minutes when Man United dominated, they're coming into the game.
The draw, by the way, for the quarterfinals will take place after this game tonight, and those quarterfinal games will be before Christmas, week commencing 18th of December. We'll have the quarterfinal draw live on BBC Radio 5 Live, our sister station, once this game has ended here. 0-0 at the moment. They'll be getting back underway for the second half. West Ham leading Arsenal by 1-0. Casemiro slides on the edge of the D. Shot goes fizzing over the top. And 0-0. It remains. Joe Linton just nodding the ball. And a shot from Matt Ritchie that was never close to hitting the target.
And so you know what, Connor? He's usually got a hell of a left foot as well.
So a little bit rusty though.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, Connor, you hit the nail on the head there. Bit rusty.
He didn't score last season, Matt Ritchie. His last goal, 2020 against Tottenham. So it's been a long time between drinks. He would very much enjoy it, Matt Ritchie, if he could get on the score sheet here at Old Trafford this evening. Did famously score a winning goal against Manchester United a few years back in the Premier League at St James's Park. That was 2018 for Matt Ritchie in the Newcastle United starting team tonight. As Eddie Howe, with these new Champions League commitments, has had to juggle the pack, but Newcastle are doing okay here. Willock into the penalty area left hand side. Hannibal sliding and had to be careful in the box, but was able to nudge the ball away from Joe Willock. Good, well-timed tackle, and Manchester United will try to turn defence into attack. This is Mason Mount to the halfway line. Turns and gives it into Casemiro. This is a part of the game that frustrates the Manchester United fans. That transition on the counter-attack, when United are at their best. Think of all the goals Rashford got last season. So many of them counter-attack, and they've been slow and they've been sluggish, and Willock slides in to make a challenge on Anthony here. Anthony, who's had a quiet opening quarter of the game. 0-0 it remains. Dello takes the throw-in, back to Harry Maguire. Newcastle have everyone back behind the ball. This is Lindelof, more central location, comes dribbling forward with it, runs into Joe Willock and gives possession away very cheaply. Ritchie will give it back to Emil Kraft, and now they have it at the back with Paul Dummett.
Yeah, you're right. And before that, credit Hannibal, because he's on the yellow card and Willock runs off him, but he's one-on-one with Maguire, but he comes back and times the tackle ever so well. But it's just, you look at Man United and you just look like it's a team with no confidence. You're right. They win the ball back and then it goes into midfield, Connor, and they slow it down again. You're right, the transition's too slow.
The West Ham United goal tonight at London Stadium's a Ben White own goal, and in fact West Ham have just doubled their lead. Kudos has made it 2-0 to David Moyes' team in the early stages of the second half. So Arsenal, another side who are going well in the Premier League, have those Champions League commitments, but 2-0 behind now. It's not that weak a team that they've put out tonight. It's got Ramsdale in goal, Zinchenko, Gabriel, Jorginho, Havertz, Eddie Nketiah, Leandro Trossard. I think Mikel Arteta will be disappointed to be 2-0 down there in the early stages of the second half. Commentary available on that game right now on our sister station 5 Live. Here on Sports Extra, Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0. 24 minutes played. Free kick to Newcastle. Dubravka's come out of the penalty area to take it. And a chance for Newcastle to try and push some bodies down the field. So, against a team with the likes of Kraft and Dummett and Ritchie, who've hardly played at all. Lewis Hall, Livramento, very much fringe players. Manchester United struggling to create chances tonight. There's been that one attempt on target, which in truth wasn't really threatening from Casemiro's comfortable save, but at least it was on target. Here is Willock on the left-hand side for Newcastle. Gives it back to Lewis Hall. 10 yards inside the Manchester United half. Gordon tries to lay it into the path of Willock, but sends it behind him. Dalot will pick it up for Manchester United. Anthony under pressure feeds it infield to Casemiro. And now let's see if Manchester United can get things moving. Lindelof in front of Reguilon over the halfway line on the far side. His pass sort of hits Martial. Ball goes out of play. That's not great as Manchester United give up possession again.
Man United are not great at the moment, Connor. They're just void of ideas. Who's going to go and create something? And I'm looking at Mount, who I do rate highly. Hasn't been in the game. Can't get on the ball. Can't get into pockets to get the ball. It's a big struggle for them at the moment.
So Dubravka clears away right-footed. Anthony tried to slide in front of him. And this is Reguilon, left-hand side of the midfield for Manchester United, turning and rolling the ball back into Victor Lindelof. Lindelof to Harry Maguire on his right-hand side. Gordon's back as the central striking figure for Newcastle. Almiron's gone to the left wing at the moment, and it becomes very much a 4-5-1 out of possession for Newcastle when their opponents have the ball. Just look around the stadium, it really is a full house tonight. There's no empty seats here at all. There'll be close to 75,000 in here tonight. 0-0 at the moment. This replay of last season's League Cup final. Manchester United, the holders, having beaten Newcastle at Wembley. Lewis Hall sends his clearance off.
He's done well,
Dalot, and that's a throw into Newcastle. He's done very well so far. Absolutely.
I do like him, to be fair. He could rival Dan Burn in that position. I liked him. I was surprised Chelsea let him go, because I do think he's a good player. He was
Chelsea Academy's Player of the Year for 2023. End of last season, which says they have a lot of talented youngsters there. But he's made the move, and maybe he's looked at Dan Burn for as well as he's played, and he's been great, Dan Burn. He's not a natural left back. I mean, if there's any spot you might be able to break into this Newcastle team, left back could be it. Yeah,
you're right. And Dan Burn is a good centre half. I think he came as a centre half, and then he had a few injuries, and the back line was just superb. But yeah, it's a great ball from him.
That's a good ball. Now Almiron scampering away, sprinting after it, wins the race to the byline and keeps it in play on the left hand side. Now who's up with him? Rolls it short to Anthony Gordon on the edge of the penalty area. Infield to Hall, who's made a good run. Willock tried to backheel it to Hall again. Maguire's made an interception. Dallow's messed it up a little bit though, and Newcastle get possession back just outside the penalty area left hand side. Still 0-0 at Old Trafford. Almiron back to Anthony Gordon, now infield to Lewis Hall. Newcastle up around the edge of their opponent's penalty area. Hannibal's done well to win possession back for Manchester United, and he rolls it back to Lindelof inside the penalty area, and Manchester United should be able to clear away. Last night in the League Cup, Middlesbrough won away at Exeter City, Port Vale won away at Mansfield Town. They're already in the draw, which will take place later on this evening for the quarter-finals. This is the last 16 stage round at the moment. Hannibal has possession inside the centre circle, urged on by the Manchester United fans. Gives it to Garnacho on the left wing, up against Livramento. Livramento picks his pocket. That's a really well-timed challenge against Garnacho. And look at him go. Storms past Mason Mount. He's made up 60 yards here already. He rolls it in for Almiron. Almiron must score, and he does. What a Newcastle goal. Completely created by Dino Livramento. He's won that midway inside his own half. He's run 3/4 length of the field, and he's played a perfect pass to Miguel Almiron, who gives Newcastle United the lead at Old Trafford. Having lost in the final of this competition last season, this means even more now. Almiron off the bench to score, and with 28 minutes played, Erik ten Hag's team are behind at home again. Manchester United, who've lost 3 of their last 4 home Premier League games, are the holders going out of the League Cup tonight. They're 1-0 down for now.
Yeah, listen, Connor, it's a fantastic goal. Listen, we're talking about Livramento and Hall, and I think they've been their best players. Garnacho tries to run him. He defends it. Unbelievable, Livramento. He says, you're not going. And I knew straight away. He gets it. He knocks it past Mason Mount like he's not there. Goes past him. And can he pick the right pass? Gordon makes a good run. But no, he carries on going, the young man. It's a great ball. Dalot don't check his shoulders. Doesn't know Almiron's there. Poor defending from Dalot. And it's a great finish from Almiron. But the goal's all about Livramento.
It is world class from Tino Livramento. Everything there he did right. This is a 20-year-old who's yet to start a league game for Newcastle, but he looked like a seasoned international there, the way he stormed from one end of Old Trafford to the other. And Almiron with a big beaming smile on his face, was able to tuck it away with glee. 1-on-1 with Onana. There's a shake of the head for Erik ten Hag, a familiar, an all too familiar sinking feeling. And you know, these poor results as they go on, and there's a long way to go tonight, but he's going to start feeling more and more pressure now, Erik ten Hag.
I don't understand how Dalot doesn't see Almiron behind, doesn't even check his shoulder. And the way he just ghosted past Mason Mount, Livramento, like he's not there. You got to do the hard yards. You got to do the hard yards, and this is what Newcastle are doing. Even with all these changes, they've been brilliant.
And this will just boost the Newcastle confidence now. It's their supporters making all the noise away to our right. 1-0 Newcastle at Old Trafford. Here's Reguilón on the attack for Manchester United, just outside the penalty area, left-hand side. Gives it to Garnacho, who's been underused in the game so far. Garnacho swings in a low cross. Mount slides in, puts it wide.
Yeah, good play from Garnacho, and that's where you want to see Mason Mount getting into that box, making that late third man run, but he just gets there before Kraft, and he was never going to beat Dubravka from there.
West Ham still leading Arsenal by 2-0. A Cody Gakpo goal as Liverpool in front away at Bournemouth tonight in this, the fourth round of the League Cup. Chelsea leading Blackburn Rovers by 1-0, and Badiashile has scored, who's pretty sure making his first appearance of the season in any competition. Everton 1-0 up against Burnley in the Sean Dyche derby, as Hannibal has possession midway inside the Newcastle half here. But as so often has happened tonight, Newcastle see their opponents go backwards in order to come forward. That's a better ball though. Anthony in front of Dalot to the byline right hand side, swings it in, hits Mount, hit him on the arm maybe.
Head the ball.
Big chance not taken.
It's a massive chance. Dalot does everywhere, stands it up. Oh, it's Martial. It's too high for Martial, and Mount can't get it. And I think he sees it late, and it hits his arm. But I think the chance is there for Martial. He ducks, but maybe he gives him a call, and he ducks. But I'm not ducking as a centre forward there. I'm heading it into the back of the net. Yeah,
I think Mount thought Martial was going to get there, but you got to be ready. You got to anticipate it. He's in a great position here, Mount. And in a game that Manchester United are behind at home, he's got to do better there. It just hits him.
It looks like he ducks Martial, like Mount gives him the call. No way, you're centre forward. Put the ball in the back of the net.
Let off maybe for Newcastle. That's been one of the more promising attacks that Manchester United have been able to rouse to the game. I say the Sean Dyche derby. It's James Tarkowski who scored the goal against Burnley for Everton, so it's a Tarkowski derby as well for him. At Portman Road tonight, Ipswich at half-time against Premier League Fulham. Harry Wilson scored the goal. Ipswich Town 0, Fulham 1 for now. Coverage of all the games tonight over on 5 Live, where the commentary is focused on events at London Stadium. West Ham United leading Arsenal by 2-0. Here at Old Trafford, goal from Almiron as Newcastle United in front against Manchester United. Mount does well in 2 challenges. It falls for Garnacho on the left-hand side. Garnacho attacking the penalty area. Another good challenge by Livramento. This is a really good battle. Garnacho against Livramento, and you would say that Livramento's winning it at the moment as Newcastle clear the ball away.
The kid will play for England one day. When Carl Walker decides I've had enough and I'm going to, hang up the boots, to be fair. But there is a lot of top right backs at the moment, but he's got a big future, Livramento. I know there's the likes of Reece James, Alexander-Arnold, Trippier. There's a lot of top, but if he keeps progressing like this in the next 2 or 3 years, he'll be an England player.
And you put in the context that he missed an entire year with an ACL injury, so he's just breaking through. He gets that huge setback, and it's great to see it hasn't affected him. He's playing at full pelt here, both ends of the pitch. Livramento's the player of the match so far. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 1. Reguilón keeps it in play on the far side, but gives away possession again, and that's happening too frequently for Manchester United at the moment. Newcastle get a second goal, Clinton, before the break. I'm not sure Manchester United are coming back in this.
Yeah, you're right. I know they've got the big hitters on the bench, but they'll be short on confidence. And this team are confident, Newcastle, at the moment, playing out from the back. Everyone wants it, and there's a good feel-good factor here at Newcastle at the moment.
Header won by Dalot, but again gives possession back to Newcastle. Dummett allows it pass in, knowing it'll roll through to Dubravka behind. Newcastle have got a big game on Saturday in the Premier League. They host Arsenal at St James's Park. It's the 5:30 game. Next week Newcastle play Dortmund away in the Champions League. So you can see why Eddie Howe has shuffled his pack in terms of players. With Isak injured, he was never going to risk starting Callum Wilson, who's been in wonderful goal scoring form tonight. Wilson is available on the bench though, should he be required for a late cameo. He's been on a fantastic run of form lately as Newcastle's number 9. Callum Wilson, 6 goals in his last 6 Premier League games. Anthony's won the ball just outside the Newcastle penalty area. Flicks it in towards Hannibal, but too far in front of him. Livramento holds it up. Reguilón arrives, hits it hard, but sends it away off target. Looking for his first goal for Manchester United. The Spanish left-back Sergio Reguilón can't hit the target there.
Yeah, Joe Lynn, listen, I'm all for teams playing out from the back, but he loses the ball. He's trying to show strength. And credit the young man Hannibal. He's the one who wins the ball and does ever so well. He was determined, won it, and it was a good opportunity for Reguilón, but he's leaning back.
You're just joining our coverage. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 1. Almiron scoring in the 29th minute to separate the teams. Matt Targett had to go off as a very early injury substitution after just 2 minutes. It was Almiron who came on in his place, and that's worked out pretty well for Newcastle. Here is the Paraguayan again, attacking down the left-hand side. Dello just backing away from him. Willock's made a great run, and Almiron picks him out. What a pass that is. Good recovery from Dello, though, to get back goal side. Willock battles on. It's still in the penalty area. Gordon's and it's in! Brilliant strike from Anthony Gordon. He's hit it full of the volley. Or is it Lewis Hall? Lewis Hall has hit it from the edge of the penalty area for his first ever Newcastle United goal. He runs off to the corner flag in celebration. He's hit that perfectly. Full on the volley into the bottom corner. Erik ten Hag's team are 2 goals down, and Manchester United are in disarray. 10 minutes to the break. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 2.
He goes to sleep again, Dallo, for me at right back. Goes to sleep, he gets back. Willock gets the crossing, and as Willock gets the crossing, they don't deal with the clearance, and it goes to Hall, and the finish is outstanding. Connor, the 2 young boys that have come in at left back and right back, Livramento and Hall, have been outstanding, but the way he controls that volley into the bottom corner, fantastic finish.
Wow, 2-0 to Newcastle. A little bit of revenge maybe for events at Wembley last spring, the League Cup final, when Newcastle were hoping for that first domestic trophy in 68 years and were denied by Manchester United. Are the holders going out at the last 16 stage tonight at Old Trafford? 2-0 to Newcastle, and Manchester United not providing much evidence that they've got a comeback in, but let's see if there can be any improvement. Reguilón plays it up to Anthony Martial. He loses out to Matt Ritchie. Ritchie sends it back to Bravka.
They don't need a number 9. We were moaning about Newcastle not having a number 9. They don't need that. They got 2 good young fullbacks who can score goal, who can assist and score.
Yeah, when your left back is hitting it like that, maybe you don't need a number 9. I mean, such a promising Lewis Hall, Tino Livramento. Just shows, how strong the new Newcastle are, that they can have youngsters of that talent who don't get to play regularly in the Premier League. Almiron makes a challenge by the corner flag, and it goes out for a corner kick. I think this might be Manchester United's first corner of the game. 7 minutes to go to the break. It was Anthony trying to dribble infield along the byline, tackled by Almiron. So Manchester United have this corner, and Mason Mount is going to take it. The ball come up from the back. Lindelof is up in there. Harry Maguire scored in the Champions League last week, trying to jostle for a bit of space. Short run up by Mount, clips it in. Maguire jumps, beaten in the air though by Dummett. Falls down for Garnacho outside the penalty area. He gives it back to Dello, and that's very wasteful. Dello's just given the ball away, and that jeer you heard, yes, it was Newcastle fans, but it was also groans from Manchester United fans for giving possession away so cheaply on the attack.
It's poor. They're short of confidence, Connor. Nearly all of these players, even the ones on the bench, they're short on confidence as well, because most of them played against Man City, apart from probably Wan-Bissaka, who's just coming back, but nowhere near good enough at the moment. We're talking about Man United as well, Connor.
It's been a sorry run of form lately for Manchester United. They have lost 3 of their 6 home games in the Premier League this season. After Sunday's derby against Manchester United, look across all competitions, Manchester United have lost 7 games in total. This could become number 8 tonight, and you've got to go back to the early 1970s for the last time they've lost 8 of their first 15 games of the campaign. And there is time for a comeback here, but what there isn't is much evidence that Manchester United have it in them. This is Reguilón. Garnacho had made a run. Eventually it's played out towards the Argentinian. Back to Reguilón again. The speed of thought isn't there for Manchester United. They're not making quick decisions. Everything's slow and laboured. Hannibal jumps on the edge of the D. He's hurt himself the way he fell. I don't think he was fouled by Paul Dummett, but it's the way he fell on the ground. He's hurt his back, and the referee has stopped play and immediately ushers on the Manchester United physio to ensure that Hannibal Mejbri hasn't done anything too detrimental here. Break and play gives us a moment to pause and reflect on what's been a very successful first half so far for the visitors.
It's been brilliant. If you had said to Eddie Howe that the changes that he's made, but he trusts in his players, that they'd be 2-0 up coming into half time, he would have bitten your hand off and he wouldn't probably have believed it. But he does believe in this group of players, some outstanding players, and you got competition for places. This is why I think they're doing well in the Champions League, doing well in the league, and this is a big opportunity for them. 2-0 up. Man United do have the superstars on the bench, but it's a mountain to climb at the moment, Connor.
You said earlier on, Clinton, you said Newcastle the club going places, and isn't it amazing the motivation that gives? And you've the likes of Kraft and Dummett and Ritchie. They get this chance tonight and they are so motivated because they know this club is going places and they want to be part of the ride.
I've seen it before with Jamal Lascelles where he weren't playing, he came in, he's been outstanding now, but where Botman's picked up an injury and he's been brilliant with Shaw. Dummett came in with Lascelles in the last round against Man City and they were excellent. You know, if you want to stay at this football club, Eddie Howe will keep you, and you just got to do performances when you get the chance, and that's what they're doing at the moment.
He'll be delighted tonight, Eddie Howe. Play back underway, by the way. Hannibal's all right. He's off the field, but he'll be coming on in just a moment. 2-0 to Newcastle. Eddie Howe, who doesn't have Isak because of a groin injury. Jacob Murphy's got a shoulder injury. Here comes Matt Ritchie storming over the halfway line. Anthony Gordon's gone down. Newcastle playing on with 10 men at the moment. Willock on the edge of the box, hits it straight at Onana, who saves it low into his stomach. Gordon's slow to get back to his feet and he's hobbling a little bit, but I think he's going to be okay to continue. Now the other injuries, Jacob Murphy the shoulder, Botman's got a knee injury, Lewis Miley's ill at the moment, Harvey Barnes with the foot problems out to the new year. Manchester United give it away again. Dalot with a screaming Anthony outside him, plays it into the penalty area. Dubravka's able to pick it up and he took too long, too slow, as you said, Clinton, allowed himself to be closed down.
Too slow, and all Anthony's done is moan. Don't moan, do your job. You've done nothing since you've gone to the football club. Do your job. Stop moaning at your teammates. When you're in a difficult time, you need to get behind your teammates.
Anthony, who's got one goal in his last 29 Premier League appearances, the big money Brazilian, and who's struggling to get into the game tonight as he's been outfoxed again by Lewis Hall here. Hall has run it a bit too far. Cut out by Casemiro. Casemiro tries to give it out to Anthony with Hall out of position, but Joe Linton had dropped back into cover. That work rate so evident from Newcastle, and such a big part of why they are 2-0 up. It's been a tale of two fullbacks so far. Livramento setting up the first goal, Lewis Hall scoring the second. Both at the Stretford end for Newcastle United tonight. Gordon to Almiron, sends it in low, straight at Harry Maguire. Maguire's clearance goes out for a throw-in, and Newcastle United remain in the attack. 3 minutes to go to half-time.
It's comfortable. They look like the most likely to get the other goal. You thought there'd be a reaction from Man United. There's not even been a reaction. It's been all Newcastle, pure domination for the last half an hour. Nowhere near good enough by Man United.
Newcastle absolutely flying. Are they flying into the quarter-finals of the League Cup tonight? They've got this 2-goal lead and look like they're going to be very tricky to shift on it. Here is Almiron, challenged by Hannibal, down near the corner flag, left-hand side is Newcastle attack. Dalot comes across to challenge too, and the ball goes out for a throw-in down by that corner flag, down by the tunnel end at Old Trafford. So Hall comes forward. No urgency now for Newcastle, of course. They can take their time a bit. Hall comes strolling up, and he's absolutely cock-a-hoop, having scored his first ever goal for the club. Takes the throw-in back to Joe Linton. Joe Linton rolls it back to Paul Dummett on the halfway line, and Dummett will go all the way back to Dubravka. Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2. Manchester United fans very quiet at the moment. Livramento flicks on a header. Ritchie's running after it, gets there first ahead of Lindelof, but the ball had gone out of play. Throw into Manchester United, left full back position for them.
Yeah, they're void of ideas. So, and listen, these players, I understand Ten Hag, but he's setting up the players. So that means they're not listening to what he wants them to do. And it's not the first time we're talking about this with Man United. It has to be better. Surely, half-time is big for him, Connor. Massive.
Manchester United might be going out of the League Cup tonight. Arsenal almost certainly are. It is West Ham United 3, Arsenal 0. 20 minutes to go. Jared Bowen has got the third goal there. An own goal from Ben White. Kudus made it 2-0 just after the break. And now Jared Bowen has made it 3-0 in what is our commentary game over on 5 Live. Here at Old Trafford, goals from Almiron and Hall of Newcastle United, 2 goals to the good against Manchester United. This is Mason Mount trying to give it out to Reguilon. Casemiro back out to the left-hand side, and Reguilon once again in towards the edge of the Newcastle penalty area, and once again it breaks down for Manchester United and they lose possession. Harry Maguire gets it back here on the halfway line. Eddie Howe still animated out on the edge of his technical area. Isn't going to rest on his laurels with this 2-goal lead. Anthony forced back away again by Lewis Hall, forced to retreat back to the halfway line. Everton have got a second goal. They lead Burnley by 2-0 tonight. Everton do seem to have turned a corner with recent results after a very sloppy start to this season. Sean Dyche has got the team digging in now.
I think Calvert-Lewin, having him back, has been massive for them. Keep Calvert-Lewin fit, they'll have a good season, Everton, and they won't be near the bottom, that's for sure.
We moved into stoppages at the end of the first half. There'll be 5 minutes added on. Reguilon gives it to Anthony Martial. Now to Dalot. Dalot has a shot, and Dubravka was at full stretch, but it's wide. Right-footed shot across the face of goal. And it's better than most Manchester United attacks. It had the crowd on the edge of the seat, but he was a long way out. That would have needed to be a perfect shot to score from there. It fizzes wide of the target. Dalot, who scored in the win at Sheffield United 10 days ago.
Yeah, it's a good strike from him, but if it beats the Dubravka from there, he'll be disappointed. But it's a really good strike from Dalot. It's like a daisy cutter corner, but yeah, it goes wide of the post.
2-0 to Newcastle. Long clearance from Dubravka. Casemiro wins the header midway inside his own half. Anthony controls. Lewis Hall sticking to him like glue. And then Willock comes across as well, and they're claiming the last touch there went off Anthony. The assistant was blindsided. He was behind the player, so I'm not sure if he saw a touch off Anthony, if there was one. And he's given the throw into Manchester United on the halfway line. Dalot to take. Throws it back to Lindelof under pressure from Gordon. Scoops it back to Onana. Great pace from Anthony Gordon. Here he goes again. Look, running in on Lindelof. He got a touch on that too. Did Anthony Gordon. Unsettling the Manchester United defence as they try to come out from the back. Reguilon infield to Casemiro, but it's slow, it's sluggish for Manchester United. Casemiro up to the halfway line, gives it back to Reguilon again. Newcastle have been able to get players back in numbers and settle at the back. Reguilon just outside the edge of the penalty area. Back to Casemiro once more. Longstaff runs in to put pressure on him. Ball into the penalty area. Dummett wins the header for Newcastle. Anthony miscontrols, and Almiron is able to clear away. It's going to fall for Willock, and it was a difficult one, coming over his head, looking up into the floodlights, and he tried to sort of stamp on it to control, and it squirted away out for a throw into Manchester United. And we've played 2 of the 5 minutes that have been added on for stoppages.
Yeah, you're right. It was difficult. If he had controlled that, he probably was in, but yeah, he was frustrated with himself. But they need a goal before half-time,
yes.
Connor.
Yeah, that would raise the crowd a little bit. Garnacho gives it back to Mount, shoots from a mile out, saved away by Dubravka. Well, that's about the 4th long-range shot that Manchester United have gone from tonight. And again, from that, I mean, that is more than 10 yards outside the penalty area. It needs to be an amazing shot to score from there. Dubravka pushes it out for the corner.
Yeah, it's a good save, but I'm happy Mason Mount's having shots on goals. That's what I'm more happy about, but you are right.
It was on target. Here comes the corner, played in by Dalot, headed out by Longstaff, only as far as Mount on the edge of the penalty area. He gives it to Anthony. Anthony's cross blocked by Almiron. It'll come back to Anthony. Little swing of the hips to find a little bit of space. This is better now for Manchester United. Reguilon to the left to Casemiro. Can they find the killer ball? No. Closed down by the hard-working Joe Willock. Willock's been excellent tonight, and Manchester United are back near the centre circle again with Hannibal. Stoppage time at the end of the first half at Old Trafford. Some supporters already making their way to the concourses for the half-time break. Casemiro wins the ball from Willock midway inside the Newcastle half, lofts it in towards Anthony Martial. He can't pick out a teammate when he's flicked on header, and Almiron is going to clear here for Gordon, and Gordon, does he have the pace on Dalot here? He gets to possession first down the left wing, has a look up to see who's with him. Hard running from Longstaff outside him. Newcastle have been full of effort tonight, full of perspiration to match the inspiration. This is Almiron. Low ball into Ritchie just outside the D. Back out to Joe Linton. And Newcastle working their way into a comfortable passing phase inside the Manchester United half, and time running out towards the half-time whistle. We're about to move into the final minute that's been added on for the stoppages. This is Longstaff, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Newcastle fans cheekily cheering every pass here at Old Trafford. You'll hear the cheers in the background. As Hall gives it infield again to Paul Dummett. Dub it on to Joe Linton, out to Livramento on the far side, and Newcastle are toying with Manchester United here. Ritchie gets it, cuts back infield of Mason Mount. Mount comes in with a challenge, ball goes out of play, and that is it a throw-in or a free kick? I think it's a throw. No, is it?
It looks like the ball's down, but I think it is a throw-in. You are right. You're right, Con.
No, it's going to be a free kick. Free kick for...
No, you're right. Yeah, Good eyes.
It was confusing, but it is going to be a free kick to Newcastle. 4.5 minutes up of the 5 of stoppages. What does Eric Ten Hag say? You lose 3-0 to Manchester City. That's all well and good in the derby. 2-0 down at half-time against a second choice, in effect, Newcastle team. Willock goes storming past Hannibal there. Dello makes a tackle on him. But there's one team here that's winning the 50-50 battles, is Newcastle. And listen to the boos at Old Trafford from Manchester United fans. A very dissatisfied Manchester United support. 2-0, the goals from Almiron and from Hall. And it's just not been good enough for Manchester United, Clinton.
No, nowhere near, Connor. You're spot on. Newcastle have been outstanding. The first 10 minutes was to Man United, but they didn't make use of it. But after that, it's been all about Newcastle and all about the two young fullbacks, who for me have been outstanding. The two best players on the pitch.
Right. Well, can Manchester United get back in the second half? How it's going to work on BBC Radio this evening. Over on 5 Live, they've got commentary on the West Ham Arsenal game. We're going to go through to the end of that game, and then we're going to pick up with commentary on both 5 Live and Sports Extra for the second half. But for now, it's the goals from Almiron and Hall. It's a very satisfied Eddie Howe. His team have really clicked tonight. Can Manchester United improve in the second period? We'll be back for that. But for now, we're going to join commentary on 5 Live at the London Stadium. West Ham leading Arsenal by 3-0. Here's Mark Schwarzer and Jonathan Pearce.
Alvarez, and it's met on the half volley, getting accurately by Eddie Nketiah. Didn't get any power behind the half volley, and it's cleared away by West Ham United once again as they lead 3-0 on 5 Live. That game at Old Trafford, by the way, which is on Sports Extra at the moment, will be here a little bit later on when we finish. And we have 11 minutes to go. Odegaard is going to come on now for Arsenal. I mean, they picked they made the changes, Mark, didn't they? But they did pick a strong side. He's coming on here for Eddie Nketiah, who's going on.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they've obviously brought the big guns on as the game has gone on, but I mean, as far as Arsenal's concerned, there's been little movement since Declan Rice has come on. They haven't really gained any more initiative. Now Martin Odegaard, I mean, there's not a lot of time left really to get 3 goals back. Just over 10 minutes with stoppage time. It's a tall order. West Ham look very solid. Don't look too bothered whatsoever with Arsenal at this moment in time.
I don't think Odegaard was ever going to start. He's been struggling with a bit of a muscle strain. He missed the weekend game. Well, if he scores tonight, just let me say Arsenal are unbeaten in 17 games. When he scores, they'll still have a mountain to climb, because they're 3 down with 10 minutes to go right now. And they've given the ball away cheaply once again in the West Ham. Paqueta settles on and strokes a beautiful ball forward here to Emerson. Emerson, centre circle, looks away to the right-hand side. And in possession now is Kudus. Kudus for West Ham, cuts inside the shot, deflects away wide for a corner kick. And again, it was singing through the air, that shot by Kudus.
Yeah, it's a really good break again for West Ham. They've been very good on the counter. Kudus, as he gets control of the ball, he tucks on his left foot, has that strike. It does take a deflection. Every time they go forward, they just look dangerous. They look like there's going to be a shot. There's going to be an end product, either on target or very close by.
James Ward-Prowse comes on. They're outside Ben Rama. It's West Ham's first change of the evening. It's been quiet on that left-hand side. Ben White has kept him quiet, but then he's negated White going forward, I guess he would say. And on comes James Ward-Prowse, a runner-up in this competition in his Southampton days. And on he comes then for West Ham United, the man who joined the club to replace Declan Rice by and large for £30 million in the summer. And we'll go across there and have a little conflab with Jared Bowen, who's about to take this corner kick for West Ham United. Bowen takes it into the near post, it's flicked through his own penalty area there by an Arsenal player. Might have been Havertz back there defending. I can't make out who it was who got that touch. It was Havertz. Well, Paqueta there tried a little bit of fancy football straight out of the Xbox or whatever they call it these days, because it was a lovely little. He kept the ball between his heels and tried to flick it up over his head and run through. Lovely bit of skill.
Yeah, it was a nice little bit of skill there. Unfortunately for him, though, he didn't manage to get to the ball, and Vieira's the one that gets to it first, and then Paqueta there, a couple of goes at it, and then in the end gives away a foul. But it looked nice, just the end product wasn't there.
Odegaard has it now for Arsenal, out wide to the right-hand side, and it's Saka at the penalty area. It's into Odegaard, square to Rice, little chip into the box straight through, and again the ironic cheers for the man they lionised, they idolised here, Declan Rice, a Rice smile on his face. And I think some of these cheers are a little bit ironic, and I don't think there's a great deal of enmity about Arsenal fans are disappearing. Oof. They're disappearing in number. Well, 7.5 minutes gone to go and 3-0 down. Escape the traffic and get away on a wet old night with the storm coming in. Here's Kudus for West Ham United to take on his man Gabriel, who got just a touch on it, and Arsenal should clear. Tomiyasu got a first touch, and now Ramsdale get it away. Now this is crucial. Our next trip here to the Vitality, Bournemouth against Liverpool. 1-1 the last time we were there. Which way has the goal gone, Sohail Sahi?
It's gone the way of Liverpool, Jonathan. It's Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2. 20 minutes to play. Trent Alexander-Arnold switching the play from right to left. Nunes picked it up, left corner edge of the penalty area. He danced into the box, right-footed shot, curling, whipping past Radu. Absolutely brilliant. Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2.
Going to be a very good player. Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2. Liverpool, you've got a great tradition in this particular competition. Win it in the spring and it will be 10 trophies in this competition in its various guises. Carabao, Carling, Milk Cup. Back in the day it was just a plain old simple League Cup, a competition that was born in the 60s, and let's hope it never disappears. It's Arsenal in possession. Saka yarded from this near touchline on 5 Live. West Ham leading by 3-0, and Arsenal a forlorn chase now. Rice drills across 20, 30, 40 yard ball looking for Martinelli, hung long in the air, and therefore it was seen off by Sofar, who heads out of play. Yeah,
West Ham have set up really well tonight. They've just really had every answer to every question that Arsenal's posed to them tonight, and they've dealt with it very, very easily and very well at this moment in time. Arsenal just have looked very disjointed, nowhere near their best.
Listen to the West Ham fans. This stadium did take a while, everyone knows that, to become a football stadium. It is now, and that's largely due to the fact they've come back with a European trophy last spring. West Ham fans loud and proud. And as Rice for Arsenal finds Gabriel slants the ball to the left hand side. Vieira strokes it on, and Arsenal trying to build again. Back it comes to Rice, looks to get the ball out wide to the left, and Martinelli's out there. Martinelli now for Arsenal. Game time for a lot of the squad players tonight. Minutes on the clock. Rice had to wait for his introduction to the game, as did Odegaard, but he diagonally finds White. That's a delicious cross across the face of the West Ham goal. No one was there apart from Sofal to edge it out.
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times tonight, hasn't it? Arsenal have got themselves in decent positions, delivering the box has been okay, just nobody making those runs into the box. They've only had one player, and it's been out of their reach.
Oh, they're in a strong position in the Champions League, courtesy of the wins against Sevilla and PSV. The win away in Seville and at home to PSV. The dent, of course, was a defeat in Lens. They play Sevilla at home in the week, and if they win that one, then they will be in a very strong position. They're in a strong position to challenge for the Premier League title, and they've got the FA Cup to come. Here's Saka as they go into the penalty area. Here Arsenal looking for a crumb of comfort. Emerson lifts it away left-footed with a balloon clearance out towards the far right-hand corner of the stadium as we look at that giant great exit tunnel over there from Olympic days. And it's going to be a corner kick for Arsenal, and we've got 4 minutes left for them to do something absolutely extraordinary at 3-0 down. In comes this corner any moment now. Martinelli, hands on hips. Now he's pointing to the sky. Havertz is in a dangerous position at the far post. Rice makes his run in from that far post area, stretching to get it away. The header was by Mavropanos, who's had a strong game for West Ham United. Back into the box it goes. Aged's header away, I beg your pardon. And Arsenal have it now on that left with Martinelli between box and touchline, jinking, trying to get away from his man, draws the ball back to the heart of midfield, and Odegaard diagonally finds Saka, changes to his left foot, nudges square, and 5 yards away is Odegaard. Odegaard has a shot from range, did take a little deflection, I think, and Fabianski pats it down.
Yeah, he did really well. Lucas Fabianski, he watched it all the way. He was very quick on his feet, good movement. He had to make the adjustment because it did take a deflection, and it was dipping and swerving, and just makes the parry and keeps the ball very close to him.
When will he know, Lucas Fabianski? He's 38, time left for a goalkeeper. Zoff was 40, Buffon was more than 40. But when will he know that time is up? What is it with a goalkeeper that tells you?
Well, for me, it was when I stopped playing regularly. I knew that I wasn't having the power anymore. I wasn't preparing for games as you normally would because you're not playing, and therefore you kind of miss that game experience, and you for me it fell off quite quickly. I knew then, certainly my last year, that was it. I was just going to try and enjoy the rest of the season, and if need be, play the odd game here and there. I could do it, but other than that, I believe at that level it was done with. I think it was more about your muscles, body. You just weren't stretching yourself to the same level as you were when you were playing week in, week out.
Substitution for West Ham United coming up. Chilo Kira is going to come on for them, and listen to the noise they make for Mohamed Kudus. They're not boos you're hearing, they're Kudus you're hearing from the West Ham fans, who scored a splendid second goal for them tonight, their second after 4 minutes of the second half, and put them 2-0 up on the night and in the driving seat. Well, Blackpool from 2-0 down at Fleetwood in the first half scored 3 goals in 21 second half minutes. Lavery with the third. They're 3-2 up there. That's some comeback, isn't it? Arsenal still prodding away with 90 seconds to go, as we see on the big giant scoreboard advertising for future West Ham games to come around the corner here. Games like Forest at home and Palace at home in coming weeks, and Freiburg yet to play, of course, in the Europa, where they got off to a very good start with the wins in Freiburg and at home against TSC, but then they lost in Greece last week at Olympiacos, so still work to be done there. Arsenal still trying to play football, and a great rousing reception for Kudus as he walks around this near side and is about to disappear into the West Ham dugout. They absolutely love him here, Mohamed Kudus, after just 11 games. Vieira for Arsenal finds left-hand touchline. Martinelli, well balanced for a winger, pulls it back into Rice, 25 yards out, again the boos, into Odegaard. Well, West Ham fans are fiercely loyal and have their pride, and he did leave the club, but he left with great emotion, I think, and he chases across here, Rice, to close down on his conference-winning teammate Bowen, who takes it off his toes, and the West Ham fans love that as well. And they have possession, and we're about to enter stoppage time any moment now. 3-0 on 5 Live from the BBC. Thoroughly enjoyed it again. Newcastle 2 up at Manchester United. Liverpool 2-1 up at Bournemouth. Chelsea 2-0 up against Blackburn. Their voyage is about to end. Blackburn, Everton 2-0 up against Burnley, and Fulham 2 up away at Ipswich. This is a very good win that for Fulham. We've got 5 minutes of stoppage time here. Celtic still 1 apiece with St Mirren, and Rangers 1-0 leading at Dundee could close the gap, which was 5 points before tonight. Hearts goalless with Livingston, and Aberdeen 2-0 up at Motherwell, and St Johnstone 2, Kilmarnock 1. The goals from Scott. Here's White now for Arsenal, inside his own half, 10 yards inside his own half to Odegaard. A little tight triangle with Saka involved, back to White, who ambles forward, short pass into Odegaard, swivels and sends a 10-yard pass away to the dark-haired Tomiyasu, the Japanese international. Finds Martinelli left-hand touchline, halfway inside the West Ham half, spins, has a look forward. With nearly a minute played of those 5 minutes of stoppage time. No way forward for Arsenal. They've looked lightweight through the middle today. West Ham have worked very, very hard to gain this cup victory in the Carabao 4th round, and it's Arsenal in possession here now with Odegaard. Looks for White on this near touchline. White back in field to Declan Rice and Tomiyasu. We're into that second minute of the 5 minutes of stoppage time. Arsenal looking for Martinelli to get across him, well dealt with by Agard. Agard and Mavropanos have played very, very well at the back for West Ham United.
They have. They've done really well. They've done their job. They've been very much on the front foot. They've always put pressure on, whether it's Kai Havertz, Nketiah. But Arsenal have really struggled with that number 9. They've got no one up front at the moment who have really put them under pressure, those two big centre-half pairings. And the little that they did, they dealt with it very well.
No Gabriel Jesus in the squad tonight for Arsenal. He's got a problem, of course. And Ben White, I thought, might have got a high kick then on his hip. He's okay. He runs it off past David Moyes, still waggling his fingers and his hand in the direction of his defence to organise them back there. Good defender in his time was David Moyes at Celtic, where he won the league, and Cambridge and Bristol City, where he won the Football League trophy, the mighty Football League trophy, I think you'll find, and Shrewsbury and Dunfermline and the likes as well. Good defender was David. And here's Martinelli now for Arsenal to Vieira square to Declan Rice, but they're going nowhere fast. There's no end product. There's no end product in the offing for them. All this is way outside the West Ham penalty. Tidier there into Martinelli, out wide to White now, between the box and the right-hand touchline. West Ham with 3, 6, 9 defenders back. Here's Rice again. Just side puts it square to Tommy Yasso. And Havertz has it left-hand corner of the box. Little give and go with Vieira, but he gave it but didn't get the return. Martinelli now. We're nearly 3 minutes into stoppage time. A couple of minutes of stoppage time to go. And here's Arsenal on that left-hand side. In comes the cross. It's all the way through, and that, I think, is just about it. This game is done. West Ham heading for a 3-0 victory. So we'll go up and pick up the commentary now on 5 Live for Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2, and Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much to Jonathan Pearce. We're just about to get back underway for the second half at Old Trafford. Oh, it's not been a good night for Manchester United so far. 2-0, as Jonathan says, Almiron and Hall. Lewis Hall, his first ever goal for Newcastle. Considering he's a left back, he has hit a right-footed volley from the top drawer. And Manchester United, it has been the endeavour and the work rate that you would be as critical of as anything else. As we get back underway, no surprise that Erik ten Hag has made 2 changes at the break. We'll give you the full teams in a moment, but Amrabat's coming into the midfield, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka's come on. It's his first appearance in 7 weeks, but inevitable, Clinton Morrison, that Manchester United had to change something because they were dreadful in that first half.
No, they were dreadful, and to be fair, that's the biggest cheer that we've heard all night. Wan-Bissaka coming on. I do think they've missed his defending qualities, but I was surprised. I thought maybe Højlund would come on. I would have definitely put Højlund on. Martial has not been in the game at all.
So the players who've gone off, Dallow's gone off at right back to allow Wan-Bissaka, and it's Casemiro, who's missed the last 3 games between suspension and an ankle injury, who's gone off from the midfield. So Amrabat into that Casemiro role. Casemiro scored against Newcastle in the League Cup final when these sides met earlier on this year. Yellow card right at the start of the second half for Joe Willock, who got in a tangle with Amrabat. And the free kick is for Manchester United midway inside their own half, and that's the first Newcastle yellow card of the game. Joe Willock, who's had a good game, he's been full of energy, full of pressing in attack. It's a Newcastle team that won't have played together before. We'll give you the rundown in just a moment, but there's a goal to tell you about at Portman Road first. Ipswich against Fulham. Here's Flo Pollock.
Fulham have a third, Ipswich 0, Fulham 3. Tom Kearney, the captain, slotting home from a Bobby De Cordova-Reeve cross. Fulham comfortable now, Ipswich 0, Fulham 3.
Well, thanks very much. So already West Ham with a 3-goal lead, and Arsenal look good to be going through. The draw for the quarterfinals, by the way, takes place at the end of this game. We'll bring it to you on 5 Live Sport as Manchester United try to get things moving here in the midfield. Hannibal, who's on a yellow card, maybe lucky to still be on the pitch. He might have got a second yellow for a challenge that was arguably worse than the first one in that first half, but he got away with that. He's now got Amrabat for company in the middle of the midfield. Mason Mount, the other midfielder for Manchester United. The back 4 is now Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof and Sergio Reguilon. Andre Onana is the goalkeeper. In the front 3, Anthony Martial and Alejandro Garnacho. So that's the home side. There's been a late goal at the London Stadium, and I believe the full-time whistle has gone as well. Jonathan Pearce.
It has finished 3-1 to West Ham. Odegaard got a consolation with a slanted shot from inside the penalty area. Almost the final kick of the game. West Ham have won it with the own goal by Ben White early in the game. Should have been ruled out for a foul on the keeper. Could have a splendid goal 4 minutes into the second half. And Bowen with a shot that deflected past Ramsdale at the goal. West Ham worthy winners, 3-1.
Thanks very much, Jonathan. Arsenal, who play Newcastle in the Premier League on Sunday. It's the 5:30 game. Wan-Bissaka gets his first touch. He's playing a nice 1-2 here. Gets to the byline right hand side. Anthony's return ball, and it eventually goes out, and they're all appealing here. Manchester United with a corner. Newcastle say it's a goal kick. The officials have given the corner to the home team.
He makes a difference straight away, Wan-Bissaka, because he gives you energy down that right hand side. It's a good start from Wan-Bissaka. So really good start, and you can hear the fans now.
Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 2. Manchester United fans trying to rouse some spirit here at Old Trafford. The corner comes in. Joe Linton rises and heads it away. Reguilon has given it back out to Mount on the right hand side, who've taken the corner. Again, the delivery is straight at Joe Linton, and the big Brazilian heads away from the edge of his 6-yard box, and he gets it all the way up to the halfway line. Another goal at Ipswich. Flo Pollock.
Maybe not over yet. Ipswich 1, Fulham 3. Elkan Baggett with a powerful header from a corner. Ipswich 1, Fulham 3. 10 minutes left.
Thanks very much, Flo. This is Reguilon, left-hand side for Manchester United, trying to start this second period in a new gear now, having been thoroughly outclassed in the first period. This coming off the back of the Manchester derby on Sunday, when again Eric Ten Hag's side were outclassed. When the second goal went in that first half, Clint Morrison, Eric Ten Hag, we saw on our monitor, just shaking his head. He can't believe how poor his team would be.
No, yeah, he is shaking his head, but he's the man. He runs this football team, so he needs to motivate these players. As I said, his half-time team talk had to be big. He had to make a few changes, and it's been a positive start in the second half.
So Newcastle have got Dubravka in goal. Back four as a free kick has been given here to Manchester United midway inside the Newcastle half. Another foul on Amrabat.
See, this is what I like about the young boy Hannibal. So he's there getting the crowd going. He's the only one. He's got the young enthusiasm. Look at him. He wants to. He's desperate.
He was waving his arms there, and he got the reaction from the crowd. Hannibal Mebry, the Tunisian international who got his first ever Manchester United goal against Brighton in September. He's a popular figure with the United supporters. They're pleased to see him in the team tonight. Now let's see if the free kick he's won can deliver anything. Mount and Anthony are the two standing over it. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Right hand side as Manchester United come forward, attacking the Stretford in. It's played in by Mount, too high for Maguire, flashes beyond him and Garnacho. Garnacho stretches, but he has kept it in play. I didn't think he did. It's been kept in play by the Argentinian. Reguilon, left hand side, delivers across, no one at the back post. It's going to go all the way through to Anthony. Anthony controls, tries to get it onto his left boot. Good challenge by Joe Willock. Newcastle are able to repel Manchester United once again, and Wan-Bissaka sends it all the way back to Onana. Anthony Gordon sprints to apply some pressure, and Onana shuffles it beyond him and feeds it to Amrabat, and Manchester United must look to build from the back again. The goals in the first half from Almiron, who was an early substitute. He wasn't named in the starting 11, but he came on after only 4 minutes. There was an unfortunate injury for Matt Targett, who's had a lot of injury problems and was getting his run in the starting 11 tonight, but first time he touched the ball he pulled up with a hamstring injury. Almiron came on, and that gave a different complexion to the Newcastle team. Suddenly they were more attacking right from the get-go. Obviously, Clinton, they didn't want Matt Targett to get injured, but I just wonder, the way the game has gone tonight, was that a blessing in disguise for Newcastle to get Almiron on so early?
Yeah, I think it made him more positive, to be fair. You're spot on, Connor, and that we don't ever like to see anyone injured.
This is good work rate again from Willock, who gets in ahead of Amrabat, but his touch was heavy, and Lindelof was able to scoop it off him and play it back to the goalkeeper. Game's had a nice pace about it since the start of the second half.
Because they've had a goal, Man United. They've come out on the front foot, but you shouldn't take 45 minutes and go 2-0 down before you start playing.
This is 5 Live from the BBC. The last 16 of the Carabao Cup. Replay of last year's final. Mason Mount gives it to Reguilon on the left-hand side. Low ball to the edge of the area to Martial. He releases it to Garnacho, who wasn't ready, doesn't control it. That's what Manchester United were like in the first half. Little mistakes like that stunting their progress as Livramento clears the ball away.
Yeah, you're right. And to be fair, Martial has to be better. It comes into it, it bounces off him. Has to be better, Connor, in possession.
Latest scores in Scotland: Hearts 1, Livingston 0, and Motherwell now trail at home to Aberdeen by 3-0. You're up to date on 5 Live. Garnacho to the byline, but he's offside, and the referee's whistle is blown, and that's a free kick to Newcastle again.
He needs to do better as well. But two wingers need to do better. The whole front three, in actual fact, need to do better in this second half, because you got all these other, I know they've not been informed, the likes of Bruno, Rashford and Højlund. I'm getting them on. They're on the big money. They're the big players. They need to be on the pitch.
Some big names tumbling out of the League Cup. Manchester City were beaten by Newcastle in the last round. Arsenal have already gone out tonight. Manchester United could be joining them trailing by 2-0 here. Let's go to Celtic Park. Celtic against St Mirren this evening. Here's Connie McLaughlin.
You can hear that noise behind me. It means it's Celtic 2, St Mirren 1. Celtic ahead for the first time in this match. It was off the bench with a strike that nearly burst the net. It could be such a vital goal because Celtic would have been desperate to avoid dropping any more points. St Mirren coming forward. Here's the opportunity. Joe Hart saves it though, and we've got about 6 minutes or so left on this game. I don't think it's over yet. Celtic 2, St Mirren 1.
Thanks very much. We told you Hearts are 1-up on Livingston and Aberdeen 3-0 up away at Motherwell. The other games in the Scottish Premiership this evening, St Johnstone are 2-up on Kilmarnock and Rangers leading away at Dundee. That game kicked off later. They're still in the first half there. Here come Manchester United at Old Trafford. Mount to the byline left hand side, swings in a good cross, good defending by Willock. It falls to Wan-Bissaka on the edge of the box. Amrabat shoots, but it's away off target into the crowd behind the goal that Dubravka is playing in front of. It's an attempt from Manchester United, but it's another one that's off target.
It is, and Wan-Bissaka, you can see he's not comfortable when it comes to him on the edge of the box. He lays it to Amrabat. He's trying to fend it into that far corner, but I think it's been much better in the second half from Man United.
Martin Dubravka, who had a few saves to make from long range in the first half. He was on loan here at Old Trafford last season, played for Manchester United in the League Cup, picked up a League Cup winners' medal for that, even though his parent club Newcastle, he was back with them by the time that the final was played. Remember, he couldn't play in that final because he was cup tied. Nick Pope had been sent off against Liverpool, and it was Loris Karius who had to play in that final at Wembley, and Karius is the reserve keeper for Newcastle again this evening. Tino Livramento, who's yet to start a league game for Newcastle, takes a throw in on the right hand side. He was brilliant in the first half. Livramento set up the Almiron goal. He's given it into Willock, who's had his pocket picked by Anthony here. Mount gets it on the edge of the tee. Flag is raised on the far side, and a free kick has been given. Free kick to Newcastle. Manchester United had strayed offside.
Yeah, I think Mason Mount had come, or it might have been Martial came back on, where it was one of the two that came back on into an offside position. But it's much better for Man United, and Newcastle don't mind this. Newcastle have done their work in the first half. They'll play counter-attacking football. They don't mind. They can defend.
Newcastle haven't won a major trophy for 54 years. The Intercities Fairs Cup. Joe Harvey was the manager, 1969. And if you want to talk domestic trophies, you've got to go back 68 years, the 1955 FA Cup under Doug Livingston. It is all ancient history. It is sepia and black and white stuff for Newcastle United, and they want to see some silverware for all this new promise their football club has been showing over the past 2 years. Of course, Manchester United have been the thorn in the side. The 1999 FA Cup final, the League Cup final. You know, if it wasn't for that pesky Manchester United, Newcastle might have had a bit of silverware in these intervening years.
You're right.
And maybe that would give it a little bit of extra satisfaction for the Newcastle fans to be leading 2-0 here at Old Trafford. But Manchester United have been better second period. Here's Anthony weaving in off the wing, shoots, but it's away off target. And it's not just wide, it's miles wide. Never in danger of troubling Dubravka. 2-0 it remains.
No, it's good play between him and Martial. But look at my centre forward, Martial. He's laid the ball off. He's still outside the edge of the box. Once you've laid it to Anthony, get into the 6-yard box and score a goal. You're a number 9, Martial. Look, he sets it and he's just admiring it and then drops off. Get into the box.
Manchester United have lost 3 of the last 4 Premier League home games. Erik ten Hag, the pressure will be growing on him all the time, and he got that bit of silverware winning this competition last season, but it very quickly fades into the memory when you start a new campaign in a disappointing fashion. And it's not just the results, it's the manner of them, the performances that Manchester United fans have been so critical of and disillusioned by so far this season. Harry Maguire, who scored in the Champions League last week, comes forward, gives it low to the feet of Anthony Martial. Martial, who's become a more peripheral figure lately since the arrival of Rasmus Højlund into the team, but getting his start tonight in the League Cup. Lindelof, who played left back against Manchester City at the weekend, back at centre half this evening, to Garnacho, taking on Livramento. It's been a good battle between them, and it's a battle that Livramento's been winning, and another well-timed sliding tackle to put the ball out for a corner.
Yeah, it's a good battle between the two youngsters, but Livramento's definitely winning that. He gets back, and it's really good defended.
The difficulty for Livramento, we've mentioned a few times now how good he's been tonight, is that arguably he's competing with Newcastle's best player in Kieran Trippier. You know, how's he going to get game time? But clearly he's well able to play this position, Livramento.
Yeah, of course he can. Can he play further ahead as well? They'll be looking at that, but Almiron's in good form as well.
Here comes the corner played in by Reguilon, headed out by Joe Linton. That's the third corner in a row that Joe Linton has won the header for. Garnacho's beaten to the ball by Anthony Gordon, and all Mason Mount can do is prod it out of play for a Newcastle throw.
I'm staggered that it's nearly gone to the 60-minute mark, and he's not brought on players that can affect the game. Listen, Wan-Bissaka and Amrabat have made a big difference, but you've got to bring on Højlund. You paid loads of money for him, and you need a goal. He's a natural goal scorer.
It's 4-0 now for Aberdeen away at Motherwell in the Scottish Premiership. As Newcastle have possession of the back, Dubravka is confident enough to play it right beyond Martial, and then it's clipped away by Emil Kraft on his first appearance of the season. I mean, just to put it in context, you've got Paul Dummett and Emil Kraft are the two centre-halves for Newcastle, and Manchester United have not been able to score. And that's no disrespect to Kraft and Dummett, but they've played so little football.
Yep, you're right.
in well over a year, the pair of them.
But spot on, Connor.
But they've not been
tested.
No.
Exactly. They defended excellent.
This is Amrabat midway inside the Newcastle half. Mebry takes it off his toe and gives it to Anthony on the right hand side. Anthony, who was a very frustrated figure. He threw the toys out of the pram a bit in the first half, complaining about the service towards him. Crossfield ball here is played to Garnacho. Livramento lunges in again, gets a touch. Garnacho keeps it in play and gives it back to Reguilon. This is just outside the penalty area that Manchester United attack. Left hand side as they come forward, attacking the Stretford end. Hannibal gives it back to Amrabat. Now Garnacho, crossing position, sends it in right footed, just too high for Anthony Martial, and it goes out for a goal kick. That's not bad for Manchester United. That's the best we've seen in some time.
No, they have. They kept the ball, they kept it moving, 1 and 2 touch. It was good play, and then Garnacho whips a great ball in, and Martial just can't get on the end of it. He's actually in the box then, where your centre forward should be.
There's a goal in the Sean Dyche derby tonight. Goodison Park, Everton against Burnley. Here's John Bennett.
Everton have really wrapped it up now. Everton 3, Burnley 0. Ashley Young with the finish. Great work by Beto left hand side. They're on easy street, Everton. Everton 3, Burnley 0.
Yeah, the earlier goals from McNeil and from Calvert-Lewin, and Sean Dyche still seem to have turned the corner now. Wins against Brentford and Villa and Bournemouth and West Ham at the weekend, and now on the way to beating his old team Burnley. And after a slow start to the season, looks much better for Everton now. Here's Joe Willock. What a run this is! What a goal, Joe Willock! He has weaved his way into the D of the penalty area, and he hits it low, and it's 3-0 inside the hour mark, and Manchester United's despair appears to be complete. Surely there's no coming back from this. Willock, who's only just back in the team recently, gets his first goal of the season, and he took that so well. Yeah. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 3.
If you're going to have centre-backs who back off and back off and back off like they've just done there, and your manager's not even on the thing, he's on the bench, just sitting there not doing nothing, where you can see his other manager, Eddie Howe, there, encouraging his players. What chance have you got? It's absolutely poor defending. Brilliant goal from Willock. He just drives, and if he opens up for him, he just bends it into that far corner. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic finish. And the cameras go to Ten Hag, and he's just looking. Motivate your players, mate. Do something. So frustrating. But great goal from Newcastle. Brilliant finish from Willock.
3 days ago here, it was 3-0 to Manchester City.
What? I'm
Tonight,
looking at
3-0 to Newcastle.
Connor, look, he gets blocked off Harry Maguire. Lindelof is there, putting his hands behind his back. Go press the ball. Nowhere near good enough. The only one who can say out of the back four is Wan-Bissaka, who can hold his hand up at the moment. The other three, nowhere near good enough.
Joe Willock, who's run from midway inside the Manchester United half, direct straight run into the penalty area and rolled it low into the bottom corner. It's a very calm executed finish, but in the main, too easy for Newcastle. With a half an hour played, they are 3-0 in front. All over Bournemouth against Liverpool. Here's Sohail Sahi.
Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2. Liverpool, they're through to the quarterfinals. Gakpo with the first after 30 minutes. Kluivert headed Bournemouth level in the second, only for Nunes to strike, and what a strike it was. Top draw, full time. Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2.
Liverpool will go to Luton on Sunday in the Premier League. Exciting game at Fleetwood tonight. An equaliser for Fleetwood to make it 3-3 at home against Blackpool. And let's go for an update to the Dundee against Rangers game at Dens Park. Here's Jane Lewis.
Dundee 0, Rangers 1. After a double delay, play finally got underway and it was Rangers who took the lead early on. Danilio's shot was spilled by the Dundee keeper Trevor Carson, and Ryan Jack was there to pounce on the rebound from close range. Sam Lammers has come close, so too has Danilio on 3 separate occasions, but the shots have been well saved by Carson. Dundee have been busy defensively, only 1 real shot on target, and that was saved well by the legs of Jack Buckland. Rangers are leading this one by 1-0.
Goal back from Motherwell. Motherwell 1, Aberdeen 4 now. It's 3-0 to Newcastle here at Old Trafford. Eric Ten Hag feeling the pain. Pain that Maurizio Pochettino has been feeling in recent weeks. But tonight, John Southall,
much needed Chelsea win. Chelsea 2, Blackburn 0. Comfortable in the end for the home side. A goal in each half from Badiashile and Sterling. But Harry Leonard missed a great chance for Blackburn at 1-0. Arne Sigurdsson denied also by Sanchez in the last minute. The Carabao Cup is offering comfort for Chelsea. The 5-time winners into the quarters. Chelsea 2, Blackburn 0.
Thank you, John. No comfort though for Manchester United, who are about to make a double change. Bruno Fernandes and Rasmus Højlund are coming on. Is it too little too late at 3-0 down? All over at Goodison. John Bennett.
Yeah, very comfortable for Everton. Everton 3, Burnley 0. Rewarded for making bright starts to each half. Tarkowski heading in after 13 minutes against his old club. Onana made it 2, 8 minutes into the second half, tapping in 2 yards out. Ashley Young wrapped it up in injury time. Burnley plenty of the ball, only 2 shots. Everton 3, Burnley 0.
Thanks, John. All over at Celtic. Connie McLaughlin.
Finished Celtic 2, St Mirren 1. Celtic breathed a huge sigh of relief after a late goal avoided dropping another vital 2 points. Conor McMenamin put Saints ahead in the first half. Celtic soon found the equaliser through David Turnbull. He then missed the penalty 5 minutes later, but it took him to the 85th minute for O to seal all 3 points. Celtic relieved, Saints deflated. Celtic 2, St Mirren 1.
Thanks very much, Connie. So what was a double change for Manchester United? It's become a triple change now. Marcus Rashford is also coming on. So Rashford, Højlund, Bruno Fernandes. There's a whole lot of talent there, Clinton Morrison, but they're 3-0 down.
I think it could be, you never know, but too little too late. I don't understand why he doesn't make it at 2-0. I just don't understand it. He just sits there, waiting, and he did that on the weekend. And until they went 2-0 down, he then decided, I'm going to bring people on. I don't get it with Ten Hag sometimes.
Rashford has replaced Garnacho. He'll play wide left. Højlund's come on from Martial in the number 9 position, and Bruno Fernandes replaces Hannibal Mejbri, who did play well but was on a yellow card, and you can see the thinking there. What Eric Ten Hag does not need is to go down to 10 men. So here's the scenario. Newcastle 3-0 in front. Almiron and Hall in the first half. Willock in the second half. If Manchester United were to score 3 without reply, it would be straight to penalties. One way or the other, we find out tonight quite quickly who goes into that draw for the quarterfinals, the draw which will bring you right here on 5 Live before the end of events. This is Wan-Bissaka, halfway line. He came on at half time. But, all well and good losing to Manchester City in the derby by 3-0. This feels a lower ebb. There's something about this performance tonight that the Manchester United team have not been up for it, which will be of great concern to their fans. This is Rashford involved for the first time into the penalty area. Chance for Højlund. He tries to turn in a wide arc on the edge of the box. Can't get into a shooting position. Anthony gets it now. Amrabat scoops it too close to Livramento. Newcastle get it back again. Matt Ritchie tries to sprint, but he doesn't have the legs to get there against Bruno Fernandes. And Manchester United regain possession once again. Matt Ritchie, who's making his first appearance of this season. He didn't start a Premier League game for Newcastle last season. Now, he's very much a squad member at St James's Park these days, but he's put in a good shift tonight for a player who must be rusty, having had so little game time. Here's Amrabat in the midfield for Manchester United. On to Bruno Fernandes. Back to Victor Lindelof. Manchester United need to get some goalmouth action here to try and improve the mood and spirits of their supporters. Mount tries to play it into the penalty area, but it's headed away by Emil Kraft. And then there is it a handball or something? There's a free kick to Manchester United midway inside the Newcastle half. 3-0 to Newcastle.
Listen, every Newcastle player has been outstanding. Eddie Howe got his spot on. We said about the changes, but the changes have worked in their favour. The changes for Man United didn't work in their favour. Been nowhere near good enough. But credit Eddie Howe, he's done. And this is brilliant. They'll just sit back. They brought on Callum Wilson, Bruno Guimaraes, 2 players that are regulars in that team.
Free kick's been taken short to Reguilon on the left-hand side. Leaning back, he swings in a cross, and inevitably it's Joe Linton back there to head away. He's been brilliant defensively in the air tonight. Yeah,
he's been brilliant, full stop, in that midfield, covering everything. But yeah, he's such an improved player, Joe Linton. Outstanding so far. So
3-0 down. If Manchester United lose this, it'll be their 8th defeat in 15 games this season. And you've got to go back to 1972 for the last time that happened. Part of a poor run that saw Franco Farrell sacked for a run like that. So what pressure it's going to put on Erik ten Hag will be very interesting to see. This is Rashford. Absolutely smacks of too little too late, this triple change of Rashford, Højlund and Bruno Fernandes. Maybe we'll eat those words, but quarter of the game to go, 3-0 down. This is Lindelof inside the centre circle. Newcastle, whose work rate, pressing, pressure on Manchester United has been so good tonight. They've had a hunger about them that's been absent in their opponents. Bruno Fernandes lashes the ball in front of Mount. Mount can't control it. Into the Stretford end it goes.
And his body language straight away. Bruno Fernandes throwing his hands. Come on, man, you're the captain. Lead by example. Not good enough. And listen, it was a good pass and Mount should have controlled it, but your reaction, it gives the whole crowd who's watching it doesn't look good.
Callum Wilson and Bruno Guimaraes should come on for Newcastle. It is all over at Portman Road. Ipswich against Fulham tonight in the League Cup. Flo Pollock.
Full time, Fulham progress and a short 3-1 win over Ipswich. Harry Wilson scored the opener and that was the heart of all that Fulham did well. Munt and Carney also scored. Ipswich rested players and they lacked the quality to compete in truth. Baggett got a consolation goal for them, but full time, Ipswich 1, Fulham 3.
Right, so that's all the other games in the League Cup tonight done and dusted. West Ham are through having beaten Arsenal 3-1. Liverpool are through having beaten Bournemouth 2-1. Chelsea through having beaten Blackburn by 2 goals to 0 at Stamford Bridge. Everton 3-0 victors against Burnley, and as we've just heard there from Flo, Fulham are through, another Premier League team into the quarter-final, having won 3-1 away at Ipswich. Here at Old Trafford, goals from Almiron, from Lewis Hall, his first for the club, and from Joe Willock in the second half. 3-0 for Eddie Howe's team. Reguilon wins a header. Højlund tries to cushion it down for Bruno Fernandes, bounced up to his arm, which was by his side, and then sliding in was Paul Dummett to clear the ball away for Newcastle. Manchester United get it back on the halfway line. Lindelof stabs it forward. Bruno Fernandes tries to flick it on. It lands for Mason Mount and he careers it off target. And we were commentating on Sports Extra in the first half, Clinton, but worth repeating the stat for listeners who've joined us on 5 Live. Mason Mount has still in the Premier League yet to have a shot on target for Manchester United, and he hasn't packed his shooting boots from the move from London, because that, I mean, at least hit the target with that. He's miles wide.
Exactly, and it's the most difficult skill when it's coming to you. Take a touch and feed it to Anthony or Bruno. It's just panicking, and that's what Man United players are doing at the moment. Every single player is panicking, not just Mason Mount. Collectively, nowhere near good enough.
36 caps for England. Mason Mount scored 27 league goals during his time at Chelsea. Yet to score since becoming a Manchester United player. Amrabat jumps in the midfield, beaten by Sean Longstaff in the air. Lindelof gets a touch down for Reguilon, left full back position for Manchester United. Bruno Guimaraes gets a touch on it. Kraft too, and then good industry from Lindelof, who's showing a bit of battle here as he skips away from a few challenges and eventually is fouled by Matt Ritchie, and that's a free kick to Manchester United on the halfway line. Back to Harry Maguire. Dribbles his way up towards the halfway line. A strong Bayern Munich team tonight have lost in the German League Cup to a third-tier team this evening. Saarbrücken have beaten Bayern by 2 goals to 1 in a game in which Harry Kane was an unused substitute. So there's big names going out of cups all over the place tonight. Arsenal already crashing out of the League Cup. They've got their Champions League duties, which resume next week. But Newcastle are also in that elite competition. It would appear are going to continue in the League Cup too. And we spoke about it right at the start of the night with Steve Crossman, Clinton. You know, for all it's great to be in the Champions League and all that, Newcastle fans want a trophy. They would be so happy if they could win the League Cup.
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, and some of these players who have not been playing, they'll be happy to get out there and progress, because they'll get more game time. But yeah, we've said it all along. And when we looked at the team, we said, can they go and compete with Man United? They've done that and demoralised Man United.
A problem for Lewis Hall here, this 19-year-old left back who's done so well since arriving in from Chelsea. Chelsea's Academy Player of the Year last season. Real coup for Newcastle to get in. He's got his first Newcastle goal in the first half, and I think he's going to be replaced by Dan Burn here. He's been down receiving treatment. He's back in his feet at the moment, but Burn is getting ready to come on down in the technical area down below us. That's not a bad player to be bringing on at this stage of the game for Newcastle either, to be bringing on Dan Burn.
If you want to defend, it's the best player to bring on in Dan Burn. Lewis Hall will give you more going forward, but I must say the 2 fullbacks this evening have been outstanding. Livramento, obviously, in the first half was unbelievable. The assist for the goal for Almiron, brilliant, and Lewis Hall got his goal as well. Man United, the players' body language it's not good enough for me, Connor. It's not good enough.
Manchester United in a sorry state. All over. Hearts had beaten Livingston by 1-0. St Johnstone had beaten Kilmarnock 2-1. And Fleetwood, with that late equaliser, held on for the 3-3 draw at home to Blackpool. Big game in those parts. This is Harry Maguire, short to Amrabat, over into space for Anthony on the far side. Manchester United playing right to left as we look down. The red shirts, white shorts, black socks. Newcastle in their traditional black and white stripes. Bruno Fernandes gives it back to Anthony again, running now at the defence in front of Anthony Gordon, veers in field, clips the ball looking for Rashford, gets it tight of the byline, tries to hook it back centrally, and Emil Kraft on the edge of his 6-yard box is there to clear it out for a Manchester United throw.
Yeah, but you know, when it comes to Rashford, look like you really want to fizz it back across, take a touch. It's not the same Rashford that we saw last season, who was quality in front of goal, assisting and scoring loads.
Yes, it's been a very different Marcus Rashford this time around. 1 goal in his last 15 games before tonight. Here's a cross in from Anthony, which again goes straight out of play and wide. And cheers and whistles and general dissatisfaction around Old Trafford.
It's a great chance for Bruno Fernandes. He's the first one to criticise everyone else when they do something wrong. It's a terrible miss from Bruno Fernandes. He should be hitting the target.
Just not happening for Manchester United. It's going to be a double change. Look at this now. Dan Burn and Kieran Trippier get to come on. Eddie Howe wants to shut the door here. He doesn't want any late drama. He wants to hold on to this 3-goal lead, and you can't blame him. But it just shows, the importance of this cup competition for Newcastle. You look at the players he's put on now. Wilson, Bruno Guimaraes, Almiron, Dan Burn and Kieran Trippier. He's bringing on the big guns to make sure that they stay on in this competition.
Yeah, because he can give them 16, 17 minutes of football, and you know what it's like defensively. When Kraft, as you said, and Dummett haven't played, you've got 2 experienced fullbacks that have been playing that can help them along in these last 16, 17 minutes.
Matt Ritchie comes off all smiles. He's delighted to have been back in the thick of the action. And we mentioned that Lewis Hall was struggling, so Dan Burns come on for him. So it means that Tino Livramento stays on. So they've Trippier and Livramento on the pitch at the same time. And this will be interesting to see which way that Eddie Howe plays this and who will sit behind who. At the moment, it looks like Livramento's going to go wide right in midfield and Trippier in behind him. And who knows, this could become a regular thing for Newcastle if Livramento continue his progression. Amrabat has possession for Manchester United inside his own half. Manchester United rapidly running out of time. I mean, there's always a chance in football. This club of all clubs knows how to have comebacks in cup competitions, but they've only 15 minutes to go now. Wilson comes in, tries to crack a shot, and it deflects away off Lindelof and out for a Newcastle corner. Manchester United 0, Newcastle 3. 5 live for the BBC in the Carabao Cup.
There's unrest in this. You got Onana coming out. He's asking Anthony, why are you not tracking back? So there's definitely unrest at Man United at the moment, but Newcastle look the most likely to get the next goal in this game, Connor.
With Callum Wilson having that shot there, a chance to remind you that the latest episode of the Footballers Football Podcast has got Callum and Mikel Antonio giving their take on the current Manchester United situation, which
two jokers
in the mood of things is very topical.
It is, yeah.
Always worth a listen, and you can download via BBC Sounds. Corner. Trippier to take, right-footed, great whip on that in an in-swing. Lindelof jumps and heads it away. It's fallen here for Longstaff. A chance to take a touch, drills it in. It's a fraction wide. What a goal that would have been. Talk about putting the laces through it. He has lashed that, Sean Longstaff. And Onana goes at full stretch. He was beaten. It's inches wide.
That's a great strike. Onana was full strength. I was just waiting for the net to ripple there, Connor. Fantastic technical ability from Longstaff. He's had an outstanding season so far.
Turned 26 on Monday, Sean Longstaff. He scored 2 goals this season. Scored against Crystal Palace 2 league games ago. Scored against Sheffield United in September. He's a player who's come on in the Eddie Howe era at Newcastle. We've seen a replay again. It's even got a bend towards the target. That was so close to squeezing in. Yellow card is shown to Reguilon for kicking the ball away, and now he's all dissent and he's waving his arms at the referee and he's walking away despite referee Rob Jones calling him over, and it's quite petulant from Reguilon that, and Rob Jones has just said to Lindelof, have a word to Reguilon there. He's going to get sent off if he keeps this up.
Yeah, because he weren't happy with the decision, and then he obviously kicked the ball away, and then he's throwing his arms at the referee, which you know they're stamping down this season. So yeah, he's lucky he didn't get a second yellow.
Manchester United are hurt. Their pride was damaged. Their egos have been bruised. But this is where you've got to step up. There's no point complaining about it.
Exactly.
You've got to fight your way out of it. And it's that attitude as much as anything that will be annoying Manchester United fans at the moment, as Lindelof heads the ball away. Dan Burn back into the mix. Callum Wilson stretches. He's got support too. Good save by Onana. It was an attempt that was on target from Emil Kraft, who'd gone forward for the set piece, but he couldn't get the power on it, and Onana made the save. Bruno Guimaraes in the midfield, tries to get it up to Callum Wilson, intercepted by Lindelof, clears it down the field, but there's no one there for Manchester United, and it'll be helped by Paul Dummett all the way back to Dubravka, away to our left hand side. Dubravka clears it high up into the floodlights, bounces in front of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who allows it out of play, knowing that it will be a Manchester United throw. Another call back from Motherwell in Scotland. They've now got it to 2-4 against Aberdeen, who had a 4-goal lead, but it's now Motherwell 2, Aberdeen 4. They're in the 93rd minute, probably out of time there in terms of a comeback, but we'll let you know if it happens. Here at Old Trafford, just over 12 minutes of normal time to play in this last 16 of the Carabao Cup on this Wednesday night. In the forecast, Storm Ciarán apparently is on the way. We haven't seen any rain. It's been good conditions for football tonight, but already the red plastic seats are becoming more and more evident around the stadium as Manchester United fans make their way towards the exits, and they have seen enough. United, who travelled to Fulham in the Premier League on Saturday.
I'll be honest, Connor, if I wasn't working and doing the radio, I would be leaving as well to try and miss that traffic. That's how bad they've been this evening.
It has not been worth the entrance fee for Manchester United fans tonight. And you see them heading off into the Salford air with clouds over their heads. 3-0 back to back now. Another home defeat in this run of form, which is getting more and more concerning for Erik ten Hag's team, a club that seemed to be going in the right direction when he first came in. His methods from Ajax needing to shake up a dressing room, and he got rid of some big egos, and plenty murmurings that they're going the right way to get the League Cup win last season. But this campaign feels like a step backwards again, at least one step backwards.
Yeah, definitely. One, I'd say 2 or 3 step backs. It's been nowhere near good. I know we're still early on in the season, but they have to improve. They have to improve massively. Even in the Champions League, they're struggling at the moment. So it is a struggle for them.
Manchester United have lost to Tottenham and Arsenal. They've lost here against Brighton. They lost to Munich against Bayern. They lost to Crystal Palace here. They lost to Galatasaray here. They lost to Manchester City the weekend, and they're about to lose to Newcastle, barring a miraculous comeback in the last 10 minutes. Eddie Howe isn't resting on any laurels, though. He's still very active on the edge of the technical area. It's a night when he's brought in the likes of Dummett and Kraft and Targett and Matt Ritchie, very much fringe players. He'll be delighted at the overall way the team is playing.
Yeah, definitely. They've been outstanding. Really positive.
Here comes Wan-Bissaka over the halfway line for Manchester United. Can they give some late cheer? Anthony continues it to Wan-Bissaka, who's now crowded in by the corner flag, and he gets the ball stolen off him by Joe Linton. Joe Linton, who's been full of hard work in the midfield. Dan Burn plays it to Almiron. Almiron is caught by Anthony. Last touch comes off Almiron. That's going to be a throw into Manchester United right wing as they come forward. So 3-0 to Newcastle here. Let's go back to Dundee. Dundee against Rangers tonight. Here's Jane Lewis.
Yeah, really good chance there for Rangers to double their lead. Danilo burst forward and he just blazed over. He's wearing the Zorro mask. I wonder if that's the excuse he'll use. Maybe it slipped over his eyes, but that was a glorious chance from a Rangers point of view to make it 2-0. They haven't done it. They still lead 1-0 here at Dens Park.
So all over in the Motherwell-Aberdeen game. It finishes Motherwell 2, Aberdeen 4. Earlier on, Celtic came from behind to lead St Mirren by 2-1. Hearts have beaten Livingston by 1-0. St Johnstone have beaten Kilmarnock by 2-1. And in the League Cup tonight, Arsenal are out, beaten by West Ham at London Stadium in our commentary earlier on here on 5 Live. This is Bruno Fernandes, challenged by Joe Linton, fouled by Joe Linton, and the referee reaches for his pocket. A yellow card for the Brazilian. Free kick to Manchester United outside of shooting distance. Clinton Morris.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for them, but little too late in my eyes, Connor. As I said, I think tonight's all about Newcastle. Everyone can say Man United are poor, and I get that, but you have to credit Newcastle. As I said, Eddie Howe making the changes. They've been fantastic.
Liverpool have beaten Bournemouth away from home. By all reports, Darwin Núñez has hit a stunner in that game. Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2. Mauricio Pochettino got a much needed victory at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea beating Blackburn by 2-0. Here comes the Manchester United free kick. Bruno Fernandes takes it. Callum Wilson heads it out. Not a good free kick by Bruno Fernandes.
No, you're always told to miss that first man, and it wasn't good enough from Bruno Fernandes.
Not good enough from Manchester United at the moment. Wan-Bissaka up to young Rasmus Højlund, who's still to score in the Premier League. He's got 3 goals in the Champions League for Manchester United. Anthony to Amrabat on the edge of the penalty area. Good work from Bruno Guimaraes to stay close to him. Now Bruno Fernandes shoots for a million miles out, and it hits the first defender again and ricochets away. Another bit of action at Dundee Rangers, Jane Lewis.
Yeah, you'll remember just a couple of minutes ago, Danilo blazed over. This time he has made no mistake. A lovely, neat one-touch play between himself and Sima, I should say, for Rangers. Neat 1-2, and Danilo this time does not make any mistake as he makes it 2-0 to Rangers. And aren't the visiting fans enjoying that one? 2-0 Rangers.
Thanks very much, Dave. Manchester United, the League Cup holders, are on their way out of the competition. We've got 7 minutes of normal time to go here. Manchester United 0, Newcastle 3. Story of the game, brilliant run by Tino Livramento, the young English right back, to create the opening goal for Miguel Almiron in the first half. Before the break, the other fullback, Lewis Hall, was to make it 2. He's a left back, remember. He hit it right-footed, full on the volley into the bottom corner. That was probably the best goal of the night. And then round about the hour mark, Joe Willock got in on the act, weaving his way through the Manchester United defence to finish low into the corner. And it's a night in which Martin Dubravka, who's not had much first team football over the last 2 years between injury and being out of favour and even being here on loan at Old Trafford at one stage, he's not had anything of concern to save. The only saves Dubravka's made tonight have been from outside the penalty area.
You're right, Mason Mount shot in the first half from 25 yards, which is a comfortable save. How can you not work a goalkeeper and you're coming to Old Trafford?
Anthony crosses from the right wing, headed away by Paul Dummett, whose calves and hamstrings must be burning now. He's had so little football in recent years. Paul Dummett scored that famous 90th minute equaliser against Manchester United in the famous 3-3 game at St James's Park all the way back in 2016. Another ball into the penalty area, and Trippier so calm with Rashford behind him, he just dummies it inside the penalty area and allows the ball go out. I think it took a touch. It'll be a corner to Manchester United. That was good experience from Trippier, the way he left it there.
It was easy, but he's got to be going in with desire, Rashford, at that back post to score. He just ambles in, makes it easy for Trippier.
Rashford has offered nothing since coming on. His only Manchester United goal this season came in the defeat at Arsenal. And that was what, nearly 3 months ago now. 2 months ago anyway. This is Mount near the halfway line. Newcastle are happy to sit deep now. They feel the job is done. High ball into the penalty area from Mount. The big tall Dan Burn gets up and wins the header. Almiron will clear up towards Wilson, and he's covered by Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And more of those red plastic seats are visible as their occupants vacate into the Manchester air. Here's Rashford, here's a chance, turns, shoots, good block. Paul Dummett got the body in the way. Rashford, who took it across the penalty area from left to right, he had a chance to shoot with his right boot, but in to smother the shot was Dummett, throwing his body. Now here's Callum Wilson down the other end, in a sprint against Aaron Wan-Bissaka, gets to the edge of the penalty area, tries to nutmeg the defender. He wanted to roll it into the path of Tino Livramento. Wan-Bissaka makes the interception, but Newcastle hold on to the ball. Trippier gives it to Bruno Guimaraes on the right hand side.
You're right, Connor. It's good defending from Wan-Bissaka. I think Wilson thought I ain't going past him in a one-on-one situation, but he done the next best thing and kept the ball.
There's been very few bright points for Manchester United tonight, but introduction of Wan-Bissaka for his first appearance in 7 weeks. He's come on at half time and he's not done too badly, but you know, it is clutching at straws to find positives for Manchester United tonight because they've been dreadful. Bruno Guimaraes here waving his arms, drumming up the support of Newcastle fans, who of course roar back encouragement, and Bruno Fernandes isn't happy with that, and he's had words with Bruno Guimaraes. Battle of the Brunos, and I'm not quite sure what Bruno Fernandes' complaint is. Are you not allowed to wave to your supporters during your game?
He can do what he wants. He can do what he wants. I'd rather see a Bruno Guimaraes being happy than a Bruno Fernandes moaning at everyone.
It's still going on down there. Manchester United fans felt that was sort of goading, showboating from Bruno Guimaraes, but you see players do that all the time. Free kick to Newcastle.
Hannibal was cheering his fans, trying to get them going. It's no different to what Bruno's doing.
I think if Manchester United fans are complaining about that, well, they really are in a sorry state. Newcastle fans thoroughly enjoying it. Of course they are. And
it's cold though. They got their tops off, Connor.
That's what they do. It is November, but Newcastle fans stripped to the waist on their way through to the quarter-final of the League Cup, and can they go one better than losing in the final last season? Trippier's free kick, can they make it 4? Played into the penalty area. Bruno Guimaraes tried to get to it. He's landed heavily there. He's hobbling Bruno Guimaraes. They wouldn't want an injury this late in the game that's gone so well for them. But Onana did well together, and he bowls it out to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Bruno Guimaraes, who's still running, but he's looking over with concern towards the bench, and he's hobbling as he tries to get back in position. Manchester United trailing 3-0 at home.
Sorry, Con, they don't want him being injured. He's been such a key player for them and they go to Arsenal they got Arsenal on the weekend.
You would nearly take him off and finish with 10 men in these circumstances. And let's see if he can recover. Anthony plays another ball in, and there's no one there. Into the penalty area, no one has decided to gamble on getting in the end of it. Rashford, for some reason, stopped on the edge of the penalty area. Why would he want to go into the penalty area?
I don't know where anyone is. There's not Højlund's not in there, Rashford's not in there, Mason Mount should be making a box. They need a goal. It's not the best ball from Anthony, I get that, but get in the box. That's the only way you're going to score goals. I've just sat here, Connor. I know whether I've been frustrated the whole time. I never could play for someone like a team like Man United, but guarantee if I'd been out there tonight, I would have run through brick walls for the football club. That's for sure.
And that's what they've not done. The bare minimum requirement tonight. You come in off a 3-0 thumping in the derby. The bare minimum is you run your socks off tonight.
Yeah,
and the attitude of the Manchester United players has stunk this evening.
You're right, it has stunk, definitely, Connor. That's the best words I can use for it. Use stunk the place out.
Yeah. Joe Linton is twirling around doing Cruyff turns inside the centre circle, absolutely enjoying himself. Manchester United in disarray. They've been a shower tonight. Wan-Bissaka gives it on to Anthony on the right wing. More than half the seats in here are empty now. Same story as the derby at the weekend. Bruno Fernandes plays a little 1-2 with Reguilon. Tries to cut back in on his right boot, and there wasn't room to do that, and Bruno Guimaraes was able to get the body in the way, and then Bruno Fernandes fouled him in trying to wrestle it back, and he's still hobbling Bruno Guimaraes, but he is playing on.
Yeah, I think it may have been his landing, or maybe it had a kick on it.
So, contrast of moods, and there'll be two very different stories written by all the journalists who are around us in the press box here, Clinton. There is the worry, the concern of Manchester United and how they've been playing, but there is going to be a lot of positivity about Newcastle to make as many changes as they've done tonight and to play this well. That's going to create a few waves, and nobody is going to want to get Newcastle in the quarterfinals of this competition now.
No one is not going to wanting to get them. Listen, they make changes, and the players that come in, they put a shift in. To come to Old Trafford and make the changes that he made and have the injuries that they have at the moment, it's brilliant from Eddie Howe. Motivating his players, getting his players playing. And you look at the other side, Ten Hag is not getting a tune out of his players.
They are progressing through the tournament again, and they're not doing it the easy way. It's not been favourable draws for Newcastle. Remember, they had Manchester City in the last round and they beat them at St James's Park. Now they've come away to Old Trafford, on the verge of winning here too. We move into 4 minutes of stoppages. 3 goals to the good for Newcastle. Højlund tries to battle on, but he's outnumbered. Dummett, who's had a very good game, clears away. Wan-Bissaka, dreadful pass towards Anthony, goes straight out of play for a throw into Newcastle. And Manchester United, they're just done here. They're shot. They have nothing left to offer.
They look like they want that final whistle to go. They probably wouldn't have wanted the 4 minutes. They would have wanted to go off the pitch. They are done. No confidence, short on confidence.
So they travel to Fulham on Saturday. Fulham, who've won tonight in the League Cup, beating Ipswich by 3-1 at Portman Road. Then it's Copenhagen away in the Champions League midweek next week, and that's followed by Luton. Luton Town come here to Old Trafford for the next home game the following weekend. But Erik ten Hag needs a turn of fortunes, and he needs it quickly. He is missing players at the moment. Malacia, Lisandro Martinez, who's a very important one. There's no Varane tonight, who was on the bench but not used at the weekend. Luke Shaw, who's sitting a few seats away from us in the director's box. Casemiro, who started tonight but went off early, and there is that to factor in. But what manager doesn't have injury absentees at the moment? It still doesn't excuse the attitude problem that Manchester United have.
Yeah, there is key players at the back line, but still going forward, they've not been nowhere near good enough. And collectively as a team, and look at Newcastle. Newcastle have a big injury list at the moment, but they're getting results. It's your application, and they haven't applied themselves nowhere near good enough this evening.
Yeah, they do. You consider Isak with a groin injury, Jacob Murphy's got a shoulder problem, Sven Botman's out, Lewis Miley, Harvey Barnes won't play till next year,
Anderson.
Elliot Anderson, and Sandro Tonali with the 10-month ban. So as I said, name a manager who isn't missing loads of players at the moment. That's not a mitigating circumstance, unfortunately. Throw into Newcastle on the far side. Old Trafford now about a quarter full. And it'll be interesting to monitor the Manchester United social media, the fanzines, the reaction to supporters, because Ten Hag, I think, is going to get a bit of a bruising for this. Ultimately, it's always the manager's fault in the long term. You know, you can lose one game, you're going out, but back-to-back 3-0 home defeats, he's going to feel this, Ten Hag, surely.
I think he will feel it. Of course he is. He's going to be under big pressure. You gave a stat earlier, so he's under huge pressure at the moment, Connor.
So Newcastle just playing out the dwindling moments. We've played 2 of the 4 minutes that have been added on. Newcastle on their way through to the quarter-final, and that draw will take place as soon as this game ends. Some big names are out. Arsenal out tonight, City already out. Might it be Liverpool's year? Might it be Newcastle's year? Everton have gone through tonight, and Chelsea are still in their great record in cup competitions, of course, over the years, despite their disappointing league form this time round. Free kick to Newcastle, which they take short. Callum Wilson gives it to Joe Linton. He'll head off towards the corner flag, just toying with Manchester United now. But there'll be celebrations in the Newcastle dressing room. It's always a big deal to come and win away at Old Trafford, and these Newcastle fans who've come, much bigger allocation than league games, they will enjoy the journey back to the northeast after this.
And they probably should deserve it. And you know they love a selfie when they've won a game in the change room. You always see it on social media, so they'll be doing that tonight, that's for sure.
Might this be the year for Newcastle to end this near half-century of a wait for silverware on the domestic scene? And as Onana gives it short to Lindelof, and Manchester United, who look like they would rather be anywhere else right now, try to play it out for the back. Bruno Fernandes to the right-hand side to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Rashford trotting his way into the penalty area. Wan-Bissaka gives it short to Mount. Mount took too long, and he's closed down by Bruno Guimaraes, and the ball goes out for a throw-in. So Newcastle, who have beaten Paris Saint-Germain, who've beaten Manchester City, now beat Manchester United, and Eddie Howe's team move into the quarter-finals of the League Cup, with the final whistle being blown here at Old Trafford. Misery for Erik ten Hag. A performance that was worse, much worse than the derby. The interest was not there, the attitude was all wrong. Newcastle have managed to knock the League Cup holders out. Newcastle exact some revenge from that league final defeat at Wembley earlier on this calendar year, and they have done the job with lots to spare at Old Trafford tonight, Clinton Morris.
And fully deserved as well. They came here, they changed their team, they were outstanding, they were on the front foot from the first 10 minutes. After the first 10 minutes, they were the better team by a country mile. Outstanding. Eddie Howe got his tactics spot on. The 2 young boys in Hall and Livramento, our fullbacks that came in, were outstanding. And credit to Willock as well. He's been out a long time, Joe Willock, and I thought he was outstanding. To a man, they were brilliant, to be fair.
The Champions League has increased Newcastle's workload this season, but Eddie Howe has shown us tonight he still has plenty of depth in the squad. The old heads like Dummett and Kraft and Ritchie did so well. The young players, Livramento and Lewis Hall, who got one of the goals, boy, they look to be wonderful prospects. It is exciting time for Newcastle, we know that, but it feels so more than ever after this performance. Almiron, Hall and Willock with the goals. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 3.
Clinton Morrison, I'm willing to bet that League Cup final last season will have been in the minds of some of these Newcastle players' heads, because that day they didn't turn up, they did not land a punch on Manchester United. Tonight it felt like Manchester United couldn't be bothered to put a guard up.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, everyone will talk about Man United being poor, but give credit to Newcastle and Eddie Howe. I thought they were outstanding. As I said, I think tactically he got his spot on. I was questioning not having a number 9, but I think Gordon led the line ever so well, caused a lot of problems, and it was brilliant performance. Obviously they lost Target and then brought on Almiron. He contributed, that scored the first goal. They just were outstanding, Crossy. It was a brilliant performance from Newcastle and thoroughly deserved it. Man United nowhere near it.
Yeah, we're going to react to this and one or two of the other League Cup ties tonight. We're going to hear from Jared Bowen before 10:30, and at that point John Jansen is going to take over. But let's start with Newcastle for two reasons, Connor. Firstly, Manchester United's struggles are known, and we'll get into just what this defeat means for them. But secondly, all of the noise and the atmosphere and the celebration at Old Trafford right now is in black and white.
And the noise throughout the night has been in black and white. You know, right from the get-go, this larger allocation that you get for cup games has played very much in Newcastle's hands. They created the noise, they cheered things on, and there was, let's be very honest here, when the team sheets came out tonight, it's these mixture of kids who haven't played much, like Livramento and Hall. It's these older players like Emil Kraft, who's barely played in 2 years, like Matt Target, who's already played in the last year, like Paul Dummett, who's barely played in 3 years. And you're kind of thinking, well, this is a patched together team for Newcastle. This won't be Newcastle at their best tonight. But I think it is a testament to Eddie Howe, the attitude, the mindset, the belief that he has put into these players, that it almost doesn't matter the individuals in the position. They are a proper team here. And people go on about the sports washing, and absolutely rightly said, there is a case to be made and a conversation to be had about all that. But purely from the footballing thing, what Eddie Howe has been able to do to players like Longstaff and Joe Linton and Almiron, who looked bang average under other managers in this team, they now look like world beaters. And you've got to give a huge praise to Eddie Howe and how he's been able to make that be the case. And it's a wave of momentum Newcastle are on. It is intriguing to see where they're going to go with it.
Here's the thing, Clinton. Is there a bigger compliment you can play to a team when you're talking about the depth you need to compete in multiple competitions? Then you can change so many players and still look exactly like yourself, because that's what Newcastle did tonight.
Yeah, everyone buys into it at that football club. Look at Kraft and Dummett. They're two centre-backs that you're probably thinking when Newcastle, the new owners come in, would they be around? But no, Eddie Howe stuck with them, and they played excellent tonight. Listen, Man United didn't give them anything to do, but what they had to do, they defended in their numbers, and they were outstanding, to be fair. I've said it before, when Jamal Lascelles came in against Man City and was brilliant, and then he just continued to play because Botman's been injured. So every player knows their role, and it's outstanding. And Crossy, I know we're going to talk about them, but Livramento, wow, what a right back he's got to be. He's got huge potential, and the youngster Lewis Hall as well. They both really impressed me this evening.
For Manchester United fans, Clinton, watching that tonight, did they see everything that their team, not just their team, their club isn't, properly feeling like a team, one? And also Livramento, Lewis Hall, great recruitment as well by Eddie Howe and Newcastle United. They're polar opposites.
Exactly. You know what, Crossy? Sometimes you have to be professional, because I'm doing a job here on the radio.
Sometimes.
No, yeah. Majority of the time I have to be professional. But I'm so frustrated when I'm watching it here. I'm thinking, come on, give these fans something to shout about. It was just lackluster. There was no energy. And even the subs that came on, you're thinking, go on, chase their lost cause, make a tackle and get the crowd going, or get a ball into the box. When crosses are coming in, there's no centre forward in the box. Pure frustration, Crossy. I said it in commentary. I'd have loved to have played for a club like Man United. Some players don't know what it means to play for Man United.
One more on Newcastle, Clinton, and then I promise I'm just going to let you vent on Manchester United. But Connor, I've just been looking at the teams left in the competition. So West Ham, Fulham, Liverpool, Chelsea, Everton, Newcastle, Middlesbrough, and League One's Port Vale. There are a couple of big clubs in that draw still. There are a number of big clubs in that draw still. But if you're a Newcastle fan who haven't won anything since 1969, you fancy yourself.
No, absolutely. They've the belief. They know they can get to the final in this competition. And, I think belief is actually helping West Ham as well. Getting to those finals, particularly in West Ham's case, winning a trophy last season. That'll be a huge part of why they've been able to beat Arsenal tonight. And you've got to, I heard a great expression lately. It was like, if you get put in a darkened room, it might take you a while to find the door to get out. But once you've been in there once or twice, next time you're in the dark, you'll just go straight and you'll find the door handle. And I think that's
switch the light on. Maybe.
Exactly. But you'll know where that light switch is. But the first time you have to fumble around for it. And I think Newcastle, in living memory, it's been so long since they were in these finals and challenging for these trophies. As a club, it has taken them that cycle to go through, to go to Wembley, to have the suits, to bring the buses down, to dress up the Angel of the North, to get back into that groove. If they get anywhere near a final again, I think what happened to them last year is going to stand to them and is going to improve them. And, you know, look, everyone always knew, no matter how much money in the world you have, the other teams are so good. It takes time in football. It took Manchester City a long, long time to become treble winners. You know, but Newcastle are making such advanced strides. They are using their new wealth so cleverly. I mean, there's very few of their signings you point to and say, boy, they've wasted money there. And I think, you know, Clint and myself have been so enjoying Livramento's performance tonight. The likes of him and Hall, what shrewd signings they are. That is looking for the future. And on nights like that, tonight, they get to enjoy that. Newcastle were a joy to watch this evening. The total opposite of what you'd say for watching Manchester United.
Clinton, let's roll with Connor's metaphor, shall we? Is there a door in Manchester United's dark room?
There's a door, but they can't get out of it at the moment. Newcastle have got out their door and they know how to get out the door. They turn the light on. They can't find the light, and I don't know when they'll be able to find the light. And he's under pressure, Ten Hag. He's under big pressure. Let me tell you, after second half performance against Man City was nowhere near it. I think he made some strange substitutions, and tactically I thought he got it wrong, playing a centre half at left back, Lindelof. So listen, there's a lot of question marks over him at the moment and his group of players, because that doesn't look like a Man United team that I saw last season doing so well. They're nowhere near it at the moment. And you know that even when they played Brentford here, but they were lucky. I thought they were lucky. McTominay saved them because they were nowhere near it, Crossy. It's just nowhere near it for Man United at the moment. I'm so frustrated being an ex-player, thinking what this club stands for, and I've seen the players that have played and put on the jersey for Man United and the level that you have to be at, and some of these players are not at that level at the moment.
Last season, Manchester United in all competitions lost 2 home games. This season in all competitions, they've already lost 5 home games. It is the 1st of November. And I understand everything that's going on at the top of the club and the impact that has. But ultimately, Clinton, has that really given Erik ten Hag a bit of a smokescreen as well? If all the stuff with the ownership wasn't going on, he might have been under more scrutiny than he is now.
Yeah, you're probably right. And listen, what's happening at the top of the club is not good, and it does filter down to the coaches and obviously to the players. But I think once you get onto that training pitch, Ten Hag can't think about what's happening with the owners. He's first and foremost, he has to think about what's going on the pitch and who they're playing on a Saturday and playing in the midweek, and get results and get it right. And he's not getting it right at the moment. The group of players are not getting right, and he's not getting it right. I know at the back of the mind he's probably worried about the owners and stuff, but if you don't get results, whoever comes in, you're going to be under big pressure because you're not getting results. If you've got new owners and you're winning football matches.